And we are live with a frame in front of my face. Not anymore. Alright guys, welcome back to the live stream. Finally, yes, finally, we are live streaming again. It has been over a month by now. And finally, we have a semi-functioning green screen back. So look forward to more videos, more reactions, inshallah, with a green screen yet again. The settings look pretty good on my, what's the name again? Not Streamlabs, but the OBS Studio, exactly. But here in Streamlabs, unfortunately, there's always a flickering, or you can see that my t-shirt is dissolving. Nevertheless, we have the green screen back. And moreover, we have a new mic, as you can see. We have some podcast quality over here, inshallah, hopefully. So please let me know. Right now, I think it's a bit too loud. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me well, if it's too loud, if the sound is cracking or whatnot. And then we go from there. It should sound much, much better by now, I believe, than the previous mic. The previous mic was a catastrophe. Not due to the mic alone, it was the settings of the mic. And moreover, the cables were absolutely fried, apparently. And this is why there was always a background noise. But now it should be pretty good. Ah, I see. People talk about the 99 names of Allah, the merch. Yes, guys, if you haven't gotten it yet, we have merch out. And by merch, we're not talking about some BS t-shirt like other influencers do. Not that there is something wrong with t-shirts per se, but it would be just also boring to come out with yet again another t-shirt. So instead, we have the 99 Names of Allah series that we worked on tremendously for quite some time. And I really hope you guys like it. And from what I've saw so far, you guys definitely did. I'm very, very proud of the series. I already told you guys. So much work went into that. And yeah, they're just beautiful. So once we got them all set up here, I just made the move. I'm going to show you how they look like in real life, so to speak, how they look like in my room. And maybe then I'm not going to use the green screen for too much. In the background, obviously you cannot see it right now, but there's my prayer mat. I have some Islamic books, etc., etc. So nothing to hide here. I simply like the green screen optic. It looks much cleaner, especially when you do reactions. But anyways, yeah, finally, we are back. Took me a month. Still not streaming on Rumble. That is due to the Streamlabs settings, not due to Rumble. So no hate for Rumble over there. Just to Streamlabs. They simply cannot re-register my Streamlabs Ultra, and therefore it does not run. Anyways, guys, today I want to, first and foremost, of course, answer your questions. As always, the Super Chats and Streamlabs donations will be prioritized. If you want to support the channel, this is the way to go. But I want to react to a video or two as well here on this live stream, because I've seen some people making videos about me. However, they're way too long for me to make a really sit-down video and respond to every single point. So it would be much better to just randomly respond to it on a stream to parts of some videos. And I think that would be much more entertaining. And yeah, like that we can mesh a bunch of videos together that are not really worth making a separate video about. Okay, I see somebody says, Bobby, read my comment if you are actually reading the chat. Yeah, obviously I'm reading the chat. Otherwise I would be just having a endless monologue. That would be very, very boring. But that being said, of course, Super Chats and Streamlabs donations will be answered right away because I cannot filter through every single question in the chat. So if you really want me to answer your questions, then simply send a Super Chat or a Streamlabs donation. You can do that for as little as $1. So I think that doesn't break anybody's bank account. Like that you can support at the same time. It's a win-win situation. And you get your questions answered immediately. Nevertheless, guys, let me know again with the sound, because I'm monitoring everything. It sounds good. I can hear myself finally as well. But in my Streamlabs studio, it shows that the sound is a bit too loud, apparently. So please let me know if everything is good, and then we go from there. Let me just adjust something real quick here. And then we're going to jump into some reactions as well. I saw a funny one. It was from an anti-Islam ex-Muslim person. Let's call him that. I'm going to pull it up in a second. I just have to rethink again how his channel was actually called. Okay. Anyways. Are we reacting to Devil Wood today? Maybe we will. On that note, guys, yes, I know he reacted to my reaction. And I watched maybe 10 minutes of it in the end. It was so extremely boring and everything was so misrepresented. The funny thing is that in many instances, I was actually, in terms of debate etiquette, on the side of the two Christians. Not because I agree with Christianity, but in terms of debate etiquette. And I mentioned that, and not even that they really understood. They failed to understand that as well. So, yeah, very, very disingenuous reaction and extremely boring. I was expecting something fun to react to, and after 10 minutes, I just gave up on it. I said, man, this is so extremely boring. I don't know how to sit here and actually react to it. So, yeah, maybe we're going to do that today on this live stream. We will see how it goes. If I can muster up the motivation to actually react to 10 or 15 minutes of it. Definitely not the whole thing, because it's so backwards. It's insane. Okay. Recent events. Okay, my dashboard is up. Fantastic. Bobby, I got LSEs. Amazing. Happy to hear that, man. For me, obviously, my favorite one is Al Haq. So that is my favorite name. And that will be in the middle. The other two that I want to hang here, I still haven't decided quite yet. And, as I said in my video as well, we're going to hang a multitude of those pictures as well in the living room, even though my wife is not Muslim. She is Christian, as you guys know, and she fell in love with the designs, which is, I have to say, to my surprise, and at the same time to my satisfaction, of course, because that is quite amazing. When you enter my flat, then the first thing you see is the 99 names of Allah. On that note, guys, actually talking of which, honestly, we had a little bug in the shop. So let me just see if this is fixed now, because I have to make a separate announcement for that as well. Just give me a second. I have to double check. There was a bug in the shop, unfortunately, and it didn't show. But yeah, here it is. Okay, fantastic. Here we go, here we go. Okay. Amazing. Here we are. I know you don't know what I'm talking about just yet. I just have to pull this up, guys, so you can see it. And it will be definitely to many, many people's satisfaction. I'm very, very certain of that, because many people asked about it. Just give me a second, guys. Boomer Bobby has to figure out the tech here. Has been a month. I'm staring at the interface here like a grandpa. Okay, here we go. Just one second. Sacred scripts. Scripts.org. Come on now. Let's go. Here we are. Okay. So, what was the bug? The bug was that people couldn't see the newest listings in the shop. And as you know, we obviously went to the extent of creating every single name of the 99 names of Allah, which is, in my opinion, pretty epic. It took so much work, man, because as I said, every single name was handcrafted. However, ultimately, many, many people, I understand, because of the budget, they cannot buy all the 99 names. And not only because of the budget, let's be honest here, you cannot hang 99 pictures in your flat. Maybe if you are a king of sorts and you have a mansion or a kingdom, so then you might be able to do that. But most people don't have space for 99 posters, for 99 pictures. And yeah, therefore many people asked, naturally, of course, what we want is the 99 names in one poster. And unfortunately, we listed them, I believe, 1 week ago, maybe 10 days ago, and they simply didn't show up in the shop. There was some sort of bug. But now, finally, as you can see here in the background, we do have the 99 names of Allah in one poster, in one picture. Of course, we have different designs as well. So here, this one is my favorite, of course. This continues in the white, black, and gold theme. with the white and black separation, as you can see here. This one's my personal favorite. I really love this one. And this is the one that I'm going to get. Probably this one for the living room would be quite nice. But for people that don't enjoy the white and the black separation, we simply have white and gold as well. Here you can see it. In the middle, of course, naturally, you read Allah. And here you have the 99 names. All with English translation as well, of course. So you can learn them. You can understand them. And for people that are potentially non-Muslim and they enter your household, they can get fascinated by them, because this is really what happened to me when I went to Istanbul for the very first time in my life. This must have been 2019. Yeah, I was never in a mosque for prayer, let alone in a mosque at all. So it was the first time, 2019, that I actually visited a mosque, if you will, but I was such an Islam hater, man. You wouldn't believe it, you know, and I went there with so much superstition, ultimately, with so much hatred. May Allah forgive me, but what I was fascinated by are the 99 names of Allah, because around Hagia Sophia, you can see that they have the 99 names of Allah in the descriptions of them, and I just couldn't stop marveling at them. I was so impressed by the 99 names, and they made so much sense, you know, and in my mind I was saying, yeah, well, but they should of course believe in the Christian God. Yeah, he is the most merciful. But yeah, ultimately it really stuck with me, and to this very day I'm still absolutely fascinated. I'm in love with the 99 names of Allah, and that's why of course I chose to create this product, right? So yeah, anyways, we have it in white and gold as well. They're exactly the same 3 designs that we have the other designs in, but then we have more simple designs as well. So for people that don't like the gold for whatever reason, we have very, very simple designs in just very basic colors, such as gray is accessible as well, right? There you see it. Yeah, but here with the 99 names of Allah, obviously, as I said, for me, the black and gold takes the cake. I just love it. I get all the 3 designs, but most of them I want in white, black, and gold. That's my absolute favorite. Anyhow, so yeah, there you can see the price difference as well. So the 99 names of Allah in one depiction are roughly $10 more or less. Well, like $10. And so instead of getting 99, basically, of the other depictions, you can get 1 in all, if that is something that you're interested in. Anyways, so yeah, there was a bug. Now finally it's resolved, and we offer this here brand new now in our shop as well. So check it out, guys. And as always, I of course appreciate the support, because many people support me via Patreon, or they support me via super chats here, Streamlabs donations, etc., etc. And this here is a way to support the channel, but at the same time, you get something for your money. Let's be completely honest here. You get something for your home. So that's absolutely amazing. All right. Okay. Anyways, enough of that. I'm very, very glad to hear that you guys enjoy the designs. As I said, a lot of work went into it, so thank God you enjoy it. Amazing. Okay, let me shut this down. And we have a super chat by Bobbys Bruder. Ja, lass mich dir mal einen Applaus geben. Bobby's Bruder is German, obviously, and it means Bobby's brother, for people that don't understand. And he says, for $3.30, thank you very much, möge Allah uns immer in der Religion festigen, inshallah. Yeah, that means, may Allah solidify us, is that a good translation? Make us steadfast, make us firm in the religion, inshallah, I say for that. Absolutely. Yeah, you know how it is. Like, this is, Islamically speaking, there are days of stronger Iman and then lesser Iman, and therefore it is up to us, of course, to consistently work on that, right? Work on our Iman, get that Iman boost, because it's absolutely natural, it's normal that you have days where you have so much faith, and then other days you're slacking a little bit, right? So we always have to remind ourselves, that's just natural. But that is the same thing with anything that is worth in life, if you really think about it. So I always give gym examples, obviously. Even if you take a Mr. Olympia, some super bodybuilder, you can of course know that those guys as well have days where they just don't have that motivation. They lack the motivation, they're just not as driven a certain day, but they still do what they have to do, right? And it's the same with faith. Nothing that is worthwhile in life will be just a given, you know? What is a given in this life, if you look around, is junk food. Yeah, that's cheap. You can eat that. It's accessible anywhere. Nighttime, you can't find any food. What can you find? You can find alcohol. You can find junk food. Always accessible, always cheap, especially in the West, of course, right? So things that are not worthwhile, things that are degenerative, they will be thrown at you from all sides. But the things that are worthwhile in life, they take dedication, they take sophistication, they take determination and drive, of course. Everything that is good in life. Honestly, you can go out and you can just hook up with a chick very, very easy. Or you can actually be in a marriage and work on that relationship, which is very, very hard, but in turn will give you children, will give you a loving home. So those things that are worthwhile, they're not easy. They don't come just naturally by themselves, right? You have to work for it. And it's the same with our religion as well. Of course, ultimately guidance is by Allah, but we do have to do the work, of course. We have to pray, we have to fast, we have to give zakat, etc., etc. And it always comes down to us to find that connection to God, all right? That's not a given, especially not if you're bombarded consistently with all kinds of social media, other mainstream media, music, etc., etc., you name it. Then it's very easy to fall off the religion. So therefore, yes, let's stay steadfast in the religion, inshallah. Okay. Anyways, that being said, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. Bobbys Bruder. Du bist mein Bruder auf jeden Fall. Danke dir. And now, let me just find this one video that I want to react to. Not in its entirety, honestly. I think it's like half an hour long or so, so we're definitely not going to do that. But a little bit, because I watched 3 minutes of it, roughly, and it was so preposterous. I genuinely couldn't believe that anybody would think like that. What's his name again? Friendly ex-Muslim or something like that. Friendly ex-Muslim, I believe. Yeah, that's the one. The friendly ex-Muslim. Hehe. Okay.
If you stop driving it...
Okay, that's commercial. It's so ridiculous, honestly, that we basically have a bunch of mini David Woods. Like a copy of a copy of a copy. There is this other channel called Give Light. Exactly, Give Light. And he's an ex-Muslim apparently as well. Even though I don't believe that you can be an ex-Muslim, I really don't see it. Especially if you become a Christian, I generally have to say you've never gotten the message. It's absolutely impossible. Because once you understand what Tawheed means, once you understand what the pure monotheism is, you cannot settle for less. You cannot obviously settle for paganism, for polytheism, and therefore not for the Trinity either. It's absolutely impossible. So I don't see those people as ex-Muslim, because anybody that truly understood the message of pure monotheism cannot let go of it. It's impossible. I understand that some people might have certain queries with certain branches, sects within Islam. Can happen, okay, sure. But I believe that ultimately there is a way within Islam for everyone, right? And yeah, this is why I personally really don't believe that anybody is a true ex-Muslim. I believe that they haven't been Muslim in the first place. And just because you've been born within a Muslim family doesn't make you Muslim automatically. And honestly, to actually fuel the fire here and give the Christians, the apologetics, give them some credit because they say that I was never a true Christian. You know what? Maybe that is the case. Genuinely, looking back, I never really, really deeply believed in the Trinity. I made myself believe it. That is absolutely correct. I participated in the church. I went to Mount Athos. I was identified. I was baptized as an Orthodox Christian. I did the fasting the Orthodox Christian way. I was reading the Bible studies, etc., etc., you name it. But all of that said, was I really, truly convinced in my heart, in my deepest of hearts, so to speak, that the Trinity is true? Probably not. Generally, probably not. And I'm not saying that I was going through my Orthodox life proclaiming that I was Orthodox, meanwhile actively saying that I did not believe in the Trinity. No, not at all. I believed that I believe the Trinity because I believed in Orthodox Christianity. And this is why I had to accept it as a whole. You know how it is within Islam as well. We don't pick and choose. And therefore, when I was an Orthodox Christian, I said the same thing. Hey, I don't pick and choose. This is the doctrine. I have to obey it. And therefore, the Trinity is part of it. It must be true. So therefore, I make myself believe it. But ultimately, now looking back, to be totally honest, I never believed in my hearts of hearts, as they say, that Jesus is God, that the Holy Spirit is God, that God is a Trinity. I was never 100% convinced of that. And therefore, it was just a matter of time, ultimately, that I would let go of that faith. That's how it is. But therefore, having that experience myself, I would say that it's only fair as well to assume that an ex-Muslim never truly got the message of Tawheed, or the opposite of it, which is Shirk. And therefore, I don't believe that there is such a thing as a true ex-Muslim. I really don't. I really don't. Anyways, that said, yeah, we have a bunch of David Wood copies, because here again, credit where credit is due. The man made a career, of course, with the slander of Islam, so therefore his destination will be hellfire, dear David. But that being said, he did a phenomenal job within that disgusting niche, of course. He had many followers, and he even has little minions that copy him, right? And yeah, as I said, this Give Light character always tries to talk like David Wood. Sounds extremely ridiculous. And then this friendly ex-Muslim here, he of course takes it from David Wood's famous friendly neighborhood philosopher or something like that, right? That's what he says, I believe. And yeah, it's funny. They always copy David Wood, the absolute idol and hero. Anyways, yeah, he made a video about me. He made a video on me reacting to, I forgot her name, honestly. She's an evangelical Christian talking in the speaker's corner sometimes, apparently. I didn't even know that. And she was evangelizing, and she approached a relatively young ex-Muslim girl. And the video was titled something like, I believe, this girl totally debunked Islam. Something on those lines, something ridiculous. And yeah, I reacted to that girl. And now this man here reacts to me reacting to that girl. And yeah, as I said, I checked, I believe, 5 minutes out or so, maybe 3 minutes, not too sure. And I found it, let's say, entertaining enough to react to it. It is kind of funny, because it's so ridiculous and so retarded. But anyways, let me just pull up the chat here so I'll see you guys as well. And then we jump into it. Okay, fantastic. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. Okay. I have you guys here with me. Again, guys, if you want to support Super Chats, Streamlabs donations, I'm going to react now. And therefore, I cannot really check every question here. So if you want me to answer your questions, Streamlabs and Super Chats will be not only prioritized, but those will be the only chats that I will respond to for now. Let me open this up. Okay, theater mode. Let me check if this looks good. Okay, like so. Let me adjust this a little bit. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, as I said, this video, I was thinking about if I should make a video response. It's not that entertaining. As I said, it's entertaining enough to open it up on a live stream, but not entertaining enough to actually do a proper video reaction to it. Especially not because it is 31 minutes and 57 seconds. So yeah, 32 minutes or half an hour. And you know my reaction videos, where I really take my time. So this would take maybe 2 hours or so to make. It's definitely not worth it. But we're going to go through the first couple of minutes, maybe skip through the video and just see what he has to say. By the way, actually, when I was a Christian, I saw his channel pop up as well. I believe he did a cross collaboration. I don't know if it was with David Wood or with Ridwan, with somebody. And back then, as I said, like, it's completely open secret here. I was watching those guys as well. By the way, on that note, thank you very much, David Wood. Thank you very much, Ridwan. Thank you very much, everybody that was making anti-Islam videos, because this really led me to Islam. Alhamdulillah. It really did. It was amazing, because after a while watching them, I just understood that those guys are hardcore liberals. And I could not resonate with it at all. Because at first, I go into those videos, I'm an Orthodox Christian at the time. And I see a David Wood, and he is a Christian. I didn't know which denomination. To this very day, I don't know which denomination, to be honest. Maybe Protestant. But anyways, so I see those videos and I think, hey, cool, Christians standing up for Christianity, going against Islam. Islam is the enemy, and I'm all for it, right? And I'm listening to it. Yeah, that makes sense. Islam bad, blah, blah, war, evil, evil, evil. But then after a while, I noticed they just come up with liberal talking points. And especially in debates with Muslims, they just came up with liberal talking points. And that's when I understood, okay, this has nothing to do with Christianity whatsoever. As a Christian back then, I got it right away. This has nothing to do with Christianity. This is an American worldview. This is liberalism. This has nothing to do with Christianity, let alone Orthodox Christianity. And that's when I understood, okay, in those talks, in those debates, in those reaction videos, those responses, the Muslims take the more conservative stance. And back then, as an Orthodox Christian, I was already very, very conservative. So people have to understand that as well. People say, oh, Bobby, you learned so much about Islam, etc., etc. As I said, I've been a Muslim now less than a year, right? Reverted. Before that, 2 years of Quran studies. Before that, learning about Islam slightly here and there. So still, there's nothing in comparison, right? It's not my Islamic knowledge. I'm learning every day. Alhamdulillah, I'm progressing in knowledge. But if you really look into religion, the conservatism is found within Christianity as well, right? If you really obey Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, etc. The real differences between real Orthodox Christianity and real Islam is not the conservatism. It is the Trinity, it is the theology, right? The Son of God, etc., etc., you name it. But when it comes down to how a family structure is run, who the patriarch is, etc., it's almost identical, right? And therefore, I already had that stance, that conservative worldview, and then I see those Christians, supposedly, and they're all hardcore liberals, right? Then you had that Ridwan, as I said, and he was, or still is, a hardcore atheist, doesn't believe in anything, so I couldn't resonate with that either. And then you had this guy here as well, who was super liberal. I don't know if he is a Christian now, or if he's an atheist, no idea, but super liberal. And when I saw that, I slowly but surely understood that those people hate Islam because it is the only religion that is still openly extremely conservative. That's pretty much what it really boils down to. It is that simple. And Christianity, on the other hand, even though in its core, as I said, coming from an Orthodox Christian background, is conservative if you really obey it, but on a practical level nowadays, it unfortunately is not practiced as such any longer. And this is why Christianity is not as attacked as Islam is, because Christianity kind of bended to everything nowadays. I mean, you saw what happened now with the Pope blessing same-sex couples, etc., you name it. Right? So Christianity obviously is not a stronghold any longer when it comes down to quote-unquote conservative values. And that's all what it really boils down to. Those guys are hardcore liberals living in the West, and they simply do not want Islam, because Islam in their eyes is oppressive, because it takes away their perceived freedoms, which we, from an Islamic perspective, call desires. That's basically what it boils down to. Okay, we have one more super chat, and then we're going to finally jump into this reaction by Paul Rodriguez. Hola, senor. $5, thank you very much. Says, Assalamu alaikum, Bobby. Wa alaikum assalam. Paul, you have a couple of guys that are trolling. Praveen, Raj, and Joe. Ban them. Moderators can help with these problems, inshallah. I have some moderators. Thank you very much, brother. I have some moderators, but maybe they're not here today. So you know what? Paul, congratulations. Thank you very much for the super chat. You are a moderator now. Here you go. Even a manager. So like that you have really good access. So you're a mod now, and you can ban people. Don't be too harsh, please, but I really can't observe the chat right now. As I said, only the super chats. But if somebody is spamming too much, first put them into timeout, and then after that you can ban. Okay. Mods off at lunch. Yeah, I don't know where they are. Jazakallah khair. Yuck. Okay. I see. I like it. Allah will give Baldy Bobby 72 virgins as a donation. Inshallah, my friend. Inshallah. They will polish my bald head, bro. In Jannah. Okay. Fantastic. Let's jump into it. Let me see. Okay, sound is on. That should be good. Let's go.
So I don't know about you, but there's a lot of Muslim converts popping out of the woodworks on YouTube. There's a whole lot of them. Some of them haven't even been Muslim very long, and they're already out there preaching, criticizing the former religion, criticizing the former believers.
Okay, so preaching on my part, no. I always say that on my channel. I'm not a scholar, obviously, and therefore I definitely do not preach. I've been invited as well to do some dawah, etc. And I always said, no, that's not my thing. I am way, way, way too early into Islam to be competent enough. I am that humble, my friend, to do dawah or to really preach Islam. There are much more competent men than me in that field that can do that job. I personally share my perspective, hence the channel's name, Bobby's Perspective. I just talk about my life, what happened in my life. And it's kind of interesting as well that you will always get critiqued, of course. But the thing is, I'm simply doing things in life and I post them online. And therefore, I will be open to critique. If you do everything behind closed doors, then you will be essentially not critiqued at all, but you won't do any real change in the world either. Right? So therefore, Bobby's Perspective, just sharing my perspective, not preaching whatsoever. Criticizing my former faith, yes, absolutely, that is correct, because I left my former faith, and you, as an ex-Muslim, quote-unquote, criticize your own faith as well. So I don't really see any issues with that whatsoever. Let's proceed.
Even attacking those that left the religion, despite the fact that they themselves also left the religion behind and converted, right?
Correct.
You have one such fellow by the name of Bobby.
You didn't build. Hello. So yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I don't believe that there is such a thing as an ex-Muslim. And as I said about myself, even though I practice Christianity, I was in Mount Athos, which is an excluded island dedicated to Orthodox Christianity, or 1,000 years old. Only male monks and priests live there. So I was really immersed. I went there. I wanted to experience the monastic lifestyle. I was even thinking about becoming a monk. All of those things. I was as Christian as it gets. And therefore, would it be fair to say he's an ex-Christian? Sure, on the surface level. However, what I'm talking about is something spiritual. And faith, after all, is spiritual. And I'm talking about my hearts of hearts, my deepest convictions. If I'm really objective and open about this, and I look back and I reflect upon my state, then I have to admit to myself that I was never convinced of the Trinity. You understand this? I was never fully convinced, even though I made myself believe it. This is essentially cognitive dissonance, this is denial, and we all are guilty of that in some regards. Some people stay in abusive relationships, some people can't let go of certain addictions, right? Be it junk food, be it cigarettes and whatnot, and they simply stay in cognitive dissonance and they tell themselves that they're doing the right thing. I really wanted to believe. I was praying to Jesus. I was convincing myself that I believe that Jesus is Lord. I was repeating it as a mantra. Jesus is Lord. Yes, yes, He is Lord. He is the King of Kings. Please, Jesus, appear to me in a dream, etc., etc. I really wanted to believe. And I was deeply identified as an Orthodox Christian because, yeah, to be quite frank, I hated Islam. I did not hate Buddhism. I did not hate Hinduism. I did not hate Jainism or any other religion. I actually had a lot of love for those religions, and I explored them as well, including shamanism, which is technically not a religion, but more a practice, if you will. But I hated Islam. And this is why I never looked into what Islam taught, and I never looked into that Islam teaches pure monotheism. So I was left with Christianity, a monotheistic religion. ultimately with the baggage of the Trinity. And because I believed in it, I had to take it as a whole, and I told myself, yes, this is the truth. Jesus, the Son, the Father, the Holy Spirit, they're all God. But now looking back, as I said, I didn't really believe it in its core, in its entirety. And therefore, if somebody wants to say now, you know what, you've never been really Christian, fine, I take it. And that's what I mean when I talk about ex-Muslims as well. So therefore, I'm not attacking anybody per se. I mean, after all, I'm sitting here in front of the webcam, so I'm not going anywhere, attacking anybody physically, looking for the apostates, for the murtad. No, but of course I will voice my opinion, because guess what? It is social media after all. I have my opinion. I will speak on it. I will speak about my perspective after all. And therefore, as I said before, I do not believe that there is such a thing as an ex-Muslim, because once you have Tawheed in your heart, you really understand what the pure monotheism means, then you cannot stray away from it. It's absolutely impossible. You might fall into sin, but not away from the faith. It's impossible. Family, you're left with nothing. You run to a dead-end job, you come back home alone eating pizza and swiping on your Tinder app, trying to find a meaning in life. This is what your freedom brought you to. That's true.
He's an Islamic convert, has been Muslim, I think, less than a year now, according to what
Something like that,
read.
Since last Ramadan.
And he has a video of an ex-Muslim girl that was approached by evangelists in the UK, Christian evangelists, and he did a response on this video. It's a very short video. He added an 18-minute response, and I'm going to go to his response to the ex-Muslim's view, where the ex-Muslim and the Christian evangelist were talking about Islam and how bad it is. And then he jumped in and said why they're wrong. I'm going to go through what he said and tell you why I think he got it all wrong. So Bobby doesn't seem to be very smart, but he has a lot of strong opinions on stuff.
That's
Let's take a look and see what he has to say.
That's you? Should I give him my opinion on this avatar here? Bro, you're not that white, you know?
Alright, I'm your friend.
It's kind of interesting, man. Oftentimes, it's really unfortunate. I talk to so many Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, especially the women, but some males as well. They seem to have some sort of inferiority complex. It's really unfortunate. I don't understand it. Here in Thailand as well, many Thai women, they just bleach their skin. I really don't get it, why they would do that, because I personally really like tanned skin. I think it looks very beautiful. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not very happy with his complexion, apparently. And therefore, he rather would look like...
Take a look and see what he has to say.
This. That's him. It's a copy of his. Looks just the same. Very good. That's my silly, I'm not very smart, but very, very opinionated after all. So here you go. It's the friendly ex-Muslim.
Alright. I'm your friendly ex-Muslim.
Hello.
And here today I have Bobby.
But you're not very friendly. You called me stupid after all.
For you. So the first thing...
That's not very friendly.
...about his video is first of all the thumbnail. The thumbnail is hilarious. It says Islam is a mental illness, and then he has the word 100. It sounds like he's actually agreeing that Islam is a mental illness. I don't even say that myself, but she says that in the video. So
yeah, I speak sarcasm fluently, and this is something that unfortunately even many of my viewers don't really seem to get. I really get a kick off sarcasm. So yeah, I wrote Islam is a mental illness in quotations. That's what she says basically. And I agree. Yeah, 100%. Yes, that's the truth. Get it? It's sarcasm.
Something to that effect. Anyways, let's see what he has to say.
Alright, guys. That was a long alright, guys. Channel. If you're new, my name is Bobby. Guys, today we're gonna watch how an ex-Muslim girl completely exposes Islam. Yes, I'm absolutely sure she will, just by her little YouTube video today. Yeah, there you see it. Basically, I use sarcasm again. I say, yes, I'm sure she will. Ha ha ha, wink wink, get it? Not. She will dismantle 1,400 years of Islam and end it today, of course. Guys, before we jump into the video, do me the favor. If you enjoy my work over here, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe.
So, first of all, I'm going to apologize in advance because he talks over them a lot. He doesn't pause the video, he just starts talking while they're talking.
Yeah, so that's true. I oftentimes talk over people because I don't find what they say too valuable, so therefore I talk over them. Excusez-moi, but why do you apologize on my behalf? I guess because he's the friendly ex-Muslim. He's not silly, stupid Bobby.
It's a little bit hard to understand. Second of all, his whole, this has been around for 1400 years. This is an appeal to tradition fallacy. Just
we have a
because
debate,
something's
bro.
been around for a long time doesn't mean it's true. Heck, Bobby, you yourself claim to come from a religion which is false. Christianity. It's been around a lot longer than Islam.
Correct.
Right? Yet you're claiming that one's false, 2,000 years. So
okay, so he uses the debate bro tactics. However, you're building a straw man here. Let me counter back, of course, because I did not imply that because I believe Islam is true and this is why she won't debunk it, and on the other hand, just because it is old, therefore it must be true. This is not what I implied whatsoever. Christianity is older than Islam on paper, right? It's roughly 2,000 years old. I, as myself, do not think so highly of me that I would debunk Christianity. Quite the opposite. I believe that Christianity is false, yes. I believe that Hinduism is false, and that is much, much older as well. I don't believe that anybody will debunk Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam in a YouTube video. Do you understand this now? Anybody, no matter if the religion is right or wrong, nobody will be capable of debunking the whole religion in a video. Even if they would make a good argument, even if I would make a good argument against Christianity, I still wouldn't think so highly of myself that I will now absolutely destroy Islam. So there I was poking fun at the title, because the title was something on the lines of ex-Muslim girl totally destroys Islam, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I was poking fun at that because it's impossible. Nobody ever did it. If you look at David Wood, for example, some people may say, hey, he's giving really, really good arguments and he made me ex-Muslim. Might be. On the other hand, it got me interested even more so in Islam after watching his videos. And I kept on researching Islam, and then I found it to be the truth. So therefore, yet again, not one single person will ever make a video that is so mind-bending that it will destroy thousands of years of tradition. Not in the case of Islam, not in the case of Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, etc., even though I personally believe that those religions are false.
What does Bobby think? He's going to dismantle 2,000 years of Christianity with his little YouTube videos? Like, come on.
No, I don't think that. But yeah, it's always interesting to see that people that are, let's say, not so high IQ always throw the stupid, you're so stupid word around, right? He's not very smart. He's stupid. I've seen that with people that unfortunately, well, don't really have that intellectual capacity, and the first thing they might say is, oh, well, that's silly, like little kindergarten children. My kid goes to the kindergarten right now, and that's a word that he learned as well. It's so silly, it's silly.
Like, right away, this is not an argument, but as you're going to see, there's a whole lot of fallacy.
Yeah, it's not an argument, because I did not make that argument. My argument was not Islam is true because it's 1,400 years old. My argument was that nobody will ever debunk a whole religion in a YouTube video, no matter which religion that is. Even if we talk about cults, like the Maharishi cult, or we're talking about the New Age, I don't think anybody will destroy, dismantle the whole movement as such in one video.
Is going to happen.
Now, with no further ado, let's have a look.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, you're looking pretty. That's what attracted us to you. Let me give you some more compliments.
Trying to know, like, what you believe in.
Look at the skeptical look. He's like, oh, what is he saying there? Oh, I can't believe this. Yes, this is really true, because this is how the Christians approached her. The first thing that they were saying is, oh, you're so pretty. This is why we approached you. Oh, you're so pretty. You look so nice. Yada, yada, yada. So they were opening up the whole dialogue with at first complimenting her. So it's a psychological strategy after all. That's it.
Why are you doing what you do?
Actually, for me, I don't have any religious, or I'm agnostic, because I was before Muslim.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been Muslim for a long time.
That
But,
dangerous
like,
religion.
The thing that
No.
made me leave my religion is that there is a lot of humiliating principles in Islam. As a woman, I can't believe in these things. Honestly, like,
What's
I'm not trying to
humiliating?
be racist or Islamophobia, actually, but
Try to be yourself.
yeah, I'm just saying, like,
Try to be yourself.
no one is in his fully mental health would believe in that. Because
Hence
this
the
is
title,
assaulting
see?
for humanity, honestly.
Mental health.
Like,
Get
in
it?
Quran, in Sunnah,
Sure.
they saying that it's okay to beat women.
Like I said, I apologize in advance because he
Thank you.
keeps speaking over.
Thank you so much. I'll speak over you now.
Making these
Thank you.
noises and this like sarcasm is so annoying. Anyways, let's see.
So
what he actually
annoying,
has.
but I'm gonna sit here and still respond to Bobby's perspective. Why do you do it if I'm so annoying? Just shut it off. Don't you have a family, something to do? No life at all?
To say
Nothing?
once he finishes acting all righteous about this.
It's okay
I'm acting righteous by poking fun. I'm acting righteous by actually saying they approach her disingenuously by making compliments, first and foremost, not cutting to the chase.
to take all
Okay.
to take her freedom and all these things.
It's always the same arguments. It's okay to beat a woman. Yeah, show me a passage in the Quran where it clearly states it's absolutely okay to just beat women. Yeah, go out and beat women, beat your woman at home. It is absolutely fine. This is what the Quran states. This is of course an absolute lie, but moreover, the reading
Actually, it's not an absolute lie.
No,
it
actually,
actually
it's an
says
absolute
that
lie.
right there in the Quran in 434 that if you you feel in the shoes, right, you can do several things, including leading up to beating them. So
Yeah, first and foremost, we know this passage, right? So we can read this out as well. Let's read out this translation of his. It's pretty small. Let me just have a look here. Okay. Men are in charge of women by right of what Allah has given one over the other and what they spend for maintenance from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient, guarding in the husband's absence what Allah would have them guard. But those wives from whom you fear arrogance, first advise them, then if they persist, forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. But if they obey you, once more, seek no means against them. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted and grand. So there are certain translations which don't use the term strike per se, but either way, everything has to be in context. And in Islam we know that punching through the face, for example, or hitting the face in itself is absolutely impermissible. So therefore, when you hear strike, the first thing that you think about is obviously a strike, so a punch to the face. That is forbidden in Islam. Moreover, you cannot let any mark either. So what this verse is really talking about is essentially physical discipline, if you will. And we are talking about an extreme case of a woman that did God knows what. When we talked to Sheikh Uthman, he told me that this could be an example of a woman that spreads all kinds of falsehoods about you. She might cheated on you, and she goes out and spreads mischief, talks about you in public, etc., etc. So first you advise her, then you forsake them, and then ultimately you can physically discipline them. But this does not mean that you can just beat your wife. And that's literally why it is a lie. As I said already, physically disciplining somebody, striking them, not to the face, is not really beating your wife. It's just not what it is. And you cannot leave a mark, yet again. I don't want to now dive into the Bible and show you the violent passages of the Bible because this is not a competition. Just by the text alone, this is definitely not what this woman before said. Because let's scroll back here. What did she say?
show me a beat women.
making these I apologize.
What?
Would believe in that because this is insulting for humanity, obviously. Like in Quran, in Sunnah,
Sure.
they saying that it's okay to beat women.
Exactly. That's exactly your statement. She says it's all right to beat women. So no, it is not all right to beat women. And I'm not twisting her words. She said it is all right to beat women. It is absolutely not all right to beat women. You saw it even here. You have multiple conditions, right? And of course you have to advise her first, etc., etc. So it's not all right to beat women. And especially not in the understanding of the West what beating a woman is. But anyways, let's see what he has to say about this.
That you feel in the shoes, right? You can do several things, including leading up to beating them. So
Yeah, leading
he's
up
creating
to
a false, this or that fallacy again, where he's saying, oh, you have to
debate,
either,
bro.
Quran says you should just beat women whenever you want and however you want and for no reason.
No, not doing a false this or that equivalent. Again, she said it is okay to beat women. That's her blanket statement. This is what I responded to. So stop lying.
Well, there is a reason needed, but the reason is as trivial as you feel rebellion from them. So it's not a lie.
Yeah, again, within Christianity, it is the same. The woman has to obey their husband. And that is of utmost importance. Essentially, you have God, and then you have the whole household. The patriarch is the husband. You're running the whole family. If the woman disobeys you, you're risking of a total destruction of your family. I know that the liberal mind cannot understand that whatsoever. They really don't get it. Oh, she has a freedom, so why should I control her? Why should she obey me? If you ask most people nowadays, 99% will answer, no, my wife's not obeying me. We are partners. Partners comes from the homosexuals. It's really the case. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but it's true. Back in the day, nobody called their wife their partner. This is homosexual terminology, essentially. It came from the LGBTQ scene. You have a husband or you have a wife. That's it, right? And for the husband, it is of utmost importance to control his whole household. Because within Islam, as you read there in the passage as well, I'm sure, irony, you didn't read it, the husband provides for everything, right? So the husband is working, providing. He built the whole house ultimately back in the day for the family, and now he needs, of course, that household to function. If you have a disobeying wife, this will never work. And moreover, you will compromise your whole lineage. You will compromise your bloodline, because that woman then, in turn, can compromise your children as well. So if you've been around toxic women, you will understand that. And therefore, it is of utmost importance that the woman obeys the husband. And therefore, you have those steps. And yet again, in Islam, it is absolutely impermissible to leave any marks, any traces, to hit the face, etc. We're simply talking about physically disciplining the person that disobeys over and over again. That is totally normal.
It's true. There's a whole history of, wife abuse being, perpetrated by Muslim men against women because the Quran allows it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Aspect here is that you said.
And that's so hilarious, of course, right? He comes up with this debate bro tactics. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing... What is this? Lightly beating wife permissible? Exactly. Says CT proposed women protection bill. So yes. So what's the problem here? I say that too. So call me a absolute Islamic terrorist now, if you will. Call me a bigot. Yes, lightly beating is permissible according to Quran. Yes. Nobody's ashamed of that. Absolutely fantastic. We obey those rules. It's great. The point of the story is that this lightly beating will be, of course, misunderstood within the West, because when they think about lightly beating, they think about leaving marks, leaving traces, hitting the face and whatnot, being abusive. That is not the case. And now, again, he simply says, yeah, well, because of that, many Muslim men are abusive. Sure, of course. Have you ever seen the statistics, man? Look into the West. Who are the most abusive husbands? Look into the West. Alcoholics, first and foremost, right? And I can sing a song of that because within my distant family, I know many alcoholics that were beating their wives. Absolutely disgusting. But really beating their wives. So they end up in the hospital, right? Concussions and whatnot. Broken noses, right? Really beating their wives. So real abuse you see from quote-unquote Christian men that are drunkards and come back home with a rage and absolutely destroy their wives. So if you want to make such a false comparison, here you go. Къде си, бе, синко? Тато овде га работа. That's my son. But today you're not going to see him. Don't crash the party, Kiko. Aj, moram da работам, okay? Okay, that's my son here. До после. Yeah, it's fine.
Being, perpetrated by Muslim men against women because the Quran allows it.
The important aspect here is that she says it's okay to beat women, take away their freedom. And this is, of course, a liberal standpoint.
Sure.
This is filmed in the UK, a liberal country, and therefore those ideas get infused into your head and you...
Of course, we would all love the idea of not being beaten by our husbands.
I'm sure you really love the idea to not get beaten by your husband, but the way that you behave here on YouTube, I'm sure your husband will beat you very, very soon, my friendly ex-Muslim. So this is absolutely hilarious, man. Dude, again, it's not mandatory. Hey, Muslim man, you have to just beat your women now. Yet again, he just continues with her argument and uses the same damn thing. As we already established, it is not just beating your women for the 1000th time. Right? And therefore, if the woman doesn't want to get beaten, then be a good woman. If the man does not want to be left by his woman, then be a good man. right? We're simply talking about correct etiquette for men and women. For both genders, you will find it within the Quran. It's not only, oh, the poor women. No, of course not. There is the correct etiquette for men and women. It's the same debate like with the hijab, for example. Oh, the hijab oppressive, women have to cover. Yeah, there is a certain dress code for men as well, right? You have to cover your knees, for example, right, to be more modest. The beard, etc. Right? There are certain rules for men and women. There are certain rules that are same, certain rules that are different. That's just what it is. We're talking about good etiquette. I don't want to be beaten by my husband.
I don't know what you think, what country you think people want this to be the case. This is not just a liberal value that's been put in your head. This is
yeah, if you look into just the West itself, before the sexual revolution, before feminism, etc., you will see that men used to be the heads of their household, right? And back then, those were the good old days. And this is what conservatives want to return back to as well. So therefore, yes, it is a liberal idea that you're talking about, because you're simply focusing now, the beating. You're not reading between the lines. You're not reading about the woman disobeying her husband, because you do not see anything wrong with that whatsoever. For you, you said it yourself, it's just a minor thing, right? It's nothing. No, it is huge, and you do not understand it because you are a liberal. That's what it is. You do not understand the severity of a disobeying wife. A disobeying wife will destroy your life. You don't understand that. I'm not talking about it egocentrically here, or the poor man. No, she will destroy your family. She will destroy your sons and your daughters. If you've ever seen a woman out of control, it's vicious. You have no idea. I've seen it with friends, man. It's absolutely insane. Men that don't have their women under control, those women turn their sons into absolute pathetic weaklings, similar to you, and their daughters into whores. That's really what it is. Don't believe me? Look into the West. You will see it everywhere. Weak, pathetic men that cannot control their wives, and those wives run rampant. They go absolutely ape-peep and destroy the whole family. This is why it is so crucial for the woman to obey her husband. It's crucial. You don't understand the severity of this. And this is why you talk about it as if it is just, about the beating. No, we're talking about the 3 steps prior to the beating. The woman should obey the husband. Then there is no beating anyways. And yes, this is a liberal value. I'm not talking about the not getting beaten. That's so liberal. No, I'm talking about the woman having her own head. Biblically speaking, again, because I come from Christianity, the man is the head of the household. That's the real biblical description. And he is the head of the woman. Just like that. The Bible even goes further. They say that the woman has to obey their husbands as the husband obeys the Lord. Right? So that's a bit much. In Islam, we simply obey Allah, of course. But Allah decreed as well that the woman, the wife, should obey her husband. That's essentially what Islam teaches. And this is why if you go against that principle, it's not only that you're going against Islam, you're going against Christianity, you're going against conservative values, and therefore you're going pro-liberalism with your statements. You want the woman to be absolutely liberated, absolutely free, and not obey her husband. I don't want to get beaten. It's not about the beating. You don't understand because you don't read between the lines.
Pretty universal value. Don't beat people for no reason.
Yeah, for no reason. And this is why, again, the Quran describes it, gives you reason, and you still sit there and talk about, but for no reason. It's just no reason. Beating for no reason. Again, you're just repeating the same argument, quote unquote, that this girl there gave. It's a non-argument. I already gave you the description. Insane.
You don't have to be liberal to believe that you shouldn't be beaten up.
Lead them with freedom.
Stupid, man.
What is freedom truly?
No, I have to
Nowadays,
say it.
freedom is, according to liberals, to get an abortion, for example, or to have multiple partners,
Exactly.
to wear what you want, no matter how many aspects of your body are exposed. That is all your freedom.
Yep.
They do not understand that all of those freedoms, quote unquote, are short-term gratifications. They feel good in the moment, and later on you're gonna regret them. For example,
Yep.
as a woman in your 20s, you have casual sex with multiple partners. You do that throughout your 30s. In your 30s now you're childless and you're frustrated. You didn't
And by the way, I'm talking out of experience here yet again, because, yeah, I knew quite many women like that from back in the day, and this is exactly what happened to them. It's absolutely disgusting to see. Now they're in their 30s, and they are dog mummies. It's very saddening to see, really. They fell for the trap of liberalism. They're childless and very sad.
Build a family, you're left with nothing. You run to a dead-end job, you come back home alone eating pizza and swiping on your Tinder app, trying to find a meaning in life. This is what your freedom brought you to. Short-term gratification will never bring you anywhere. You come home from work, now you can sit down on the couch, watch some movies and eat hamburgers. That feels good in the moment. In the long run, you might get a heart attack.
Yeah, he doesn't understand it. Like, you can see it in his face as well. I come from a background of bodybuilding, just to clarify this a little bit. And I understood it because before that, I was eating pizzas. Before that, I was drinking beers. I was going out to parties. And then when I was 16 years old, I just made this hardcore shift. I just ate rice and chicken, oatmeal for breakfast, egg whites, etc. And I understood that the only way forward, the only way to transform my body is with maximum discipline. And this has nothing to do with short-term gratification. It's the exact opposite. So everything that gave me short-term pleasure would not let me achieve my long-term goal. Very simple. Eat pizza in the moment, feels nice. Tomorrow, you're just a bag of water, basically, because of the sodium, and you gained a few pounds. And if you do that in the long run, you will get super fat. That's just what it is. Or you drink a beer today, you're lazy tomorrow, you do a bit less tomorrow, your output is less. Then you keep on drinking, you become an alcoholic in the worst case scenario, etc., you name it. So all of those short-term gratifications, they feel great in the moment. That's why they are so addictive, but they destroy your long-term goals. And this is why I'm talking about this, because liberalism is the equivalent to that. Liberalism feels great in the moment. Listen, I'm religious. I believe in God. I fear Allah. Of course. But don't I know that going out, I'm living in Thailand, by the way. I know that it feels great going out here and hooking up with random girls. In the moment, it will feel fantastic. I will feel like the king. Great. But what do I have from that? Right? What do I have from that? Nothing. It's unproductive. It's a sin. It's degenerative. It's disgusting. I just further this whole spiral of degeneracy. And just on a practical level, I'm not there for my children. I wouldn't be married, etc., you name it. Right? So short-term gratification will never lead you to your long-term success. That's just what it is. And this is why people that never understood that lesson with sport or with business, they don't understand it religiously either. And this is why people that are successful, be it in sport or be it in business, etc., are attracted to Islam, because they identify those steps that are needed for success. And he certainly doesn't get it.
In the long run, you're not accomplishing anything. So get your butt up and go to the gym. Oh, that doesn't feel good. Oh, how oppressive. I just want to sit on the couch. You would never say that to this example, because you would see...
He probably would. Yeah, he probably would. Bobby, you're wrong here. He doesn't see the value.
The value within that example. However, in the West, they told you that it is not valuable to be a woman that guards her chastity.
Yeah.
A woman that dresses modestly, a woman that aspires to be a mother and a wife. All of those things, through feminism, have been displayed as something negative. Fight the patriarchy.
Yep.
And you fell for it. And because you believe that those liberal standards are true now, this is why you automatically, of course, believe that Islam is evil, bad, and oppressive. You do not see the value anymore, but guess what? In a few years' time, you will. And it's going to be you that is depressed.
For sure.
So yet again, he's doing this false dilemma where he's picking
one
or the other. He's trying to say this one extreme view, which is, you know, have to have lots of casual sex and not have a family and do this and do that. He's trying to say this is what the...
Okay, listen, man. I come from the West. I grew up in Germany. And it's not a false dilemma fallacy. Obviously, not every woman will sleep with 100 guys. But what is many? 50? 10? 3? I find anything more than a virgin entering marriage reprehensive and wrong as a religious person. So therefore, I am, of course, in my example, displaying the worst case scenario. Duh. But anything from starting point virgin to end point extreme scenario, everything diverting, degenerating away from that pure state is already bad. And that is for men and women alike, right? And therefore, yeah, not a false dilemma whatsoever. This is actually the dilemma of the West. This is the reality in the West. Open your eyes. I don't know if you really lived life as I did. And I'm not saying that to brag here, quite the opposite. I'm ashamed of it. But I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with, I would say, roughly 70%. Yeah, roughly 70% of women in my surroundings that lived promiscuous lifestyles. 70% of them are now in their 30s. I'm in my 30s as well. And they are childless and they're not married. The others, they are married, but they're unhappy. They're very unhappy. Why? Because they've already seen so many different men. And women will always compare. So now they're unhappy that the husband is not as romantic as it was with Johnny. He's not as good in bed as it was with Ali, whatever, right? So they're just coming up with stories and with comparisons, etc., you name it. And this is why anything that diverges off the real path, the straight path, will always lead to misery. And that's why I said you will be depressed. That's absolutely impossible otherwise. Otherwise, there would be no right and wrong in this universe. Otherwise, there would be no true and false. It is true that a woman that compromises her virginity for random sex partners will later suffer the consequences. Why? Simply biologically speaking, women and men, when they have sex, but especially true that holds for the woman, they will bond. There are chemicals, hormones, pheromones that are being secreted, and the woman will get bonded to her partner. She will get attached. This is why women fall in love pretty fast. And there is a chemical connection with that partner forever. There are even some studies that now suggest that a woman that had unprotected sex with a person stores his DNA in her brain cells. There are really some studies like that, quite disgusting if you really think about it. But again, from a spiritual standpoint, from a religious standpoint, you have a spiritual bond with that person as well. And it's true, because when I talk to women, they all remember their first time. They will never forget that. And now they're in marriages and they think about the guy that took their virginity. They're thinking about sex that traumatized them, etc., you name it. And it makes them feel dirty, because women and men alike, we're not created for that life. We're not created to just jump from partner to partner meaninglessly, seamlessly. We're created for pair bonding. That's just what it is. Right, and therefore, it's not a false dilemma, it's the real dilemma of the West. Women are promiscuous, men, they enable the promiscuity, and it's just a whole mess. People are unhappier than ever. You see suicide rates just absolutely skyrocketing in the West. It's disgusting. It is what it is. So therefore, you might come up with, oh, that's a false dilemma fallacy. That's like saying, if you say eating meat is good, that's a appeal to nature fallacy, just because we did it. Eating meat, if you really, I have to laugh because I had so many dumb talks with vegans. If you really need to quantify it as such and make it an appeal to nature fallacy, just because humans always ate meat, so be it, be my guest. I simply call it common sense.
The alternative is to being Muslim. So I wanted to share this post on Facebook.
The best alternative would be to be Muslim, of course. But the alternative to that lifestyle, there are a few others as well. So a religious lifestyle will be, of course, always better. You have some conservative Christians that go into marriage as virgins. So therefore, I would definitely say that that is an alternative as well. You have Hindus as well that get married pretty young and they enter marriage as virgins as well. I don't have to agree with Hinduism in order to appreciate that they enter marriage as virgins. So therefore, there are a few alternatives, but Islam would be the superior path, of course. Simple.
Which I thought was actually quite telling, by Madeline.
Okay, so that's extremely hilarious right now. So what am I looking at? I thought he's going to come up with some study and he's showing us a Facebook post. What's going on, man? Wait a second, let me just adjust this so you can see this. So I'm not lying to you. This is crazy. I haven't watched the video till here, so I'm genuinely surprised right now. What is this? So he's showing us here, you see, a Facebook post. Okay. From Melanie Hansen. After telling me, I come up with here, I'll show us again, with a false dilemma fallacy that he just Googled. You come up with a false dilemma fallacy. Now let me disprove you. Let me debunk you with a Facebook post of Melanie. Okay, man. Let's go at it. Let's have a look. I'm genuinely curious.
To being Muslim. So I wanted to share this post on Facebook,
Again, lying.
which I thought was actually quite telling, by Madeline. Here's what it's actually like as a woman in the West.
1 second. Guys, we have some super chats again. First, we have Rashid L, super chat 11 euros. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you very much. I have to answer with Wa'iyak. I remember that. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. Abdullah Alk donated 18 dirham. Thank you. Says salam, Bobby. As-salam. Is reacting to Quran recitation okay now, or is there still a copyright issue? If so, how can we fix this? I don't know how to fix it because I believe 95% or so, just to give you a random number, it's definitely over 90% of the Quran recitations on YouTube have been copyrighted by Salam Network. And therefore, every time you react to it, you get a copyright strike. My channel, on that note, guys, is still shadow banned. Hence, you see way less views. It's crazy how much they're suppressing it. Every single day, I have people flocking over here telling me, yeah, well, Bobby, I had to look for your channel again. I've been unsubscribed. I don't see your channel at all, etc., etc. I don't get any notifications. So it's crazy, man. They're not notifying anybody. And yeah, they really try to kill this channel off. They try to kill my motivation. But not so fast. But anyways, point of the story is that because of this whole shadow banning, yeah, I cannot risk even further copyright strikes. And therefore, if you know for a fact, for 100% certain that this recitation is not copyrighted by Salam Network, then fine, I will react to it, of course. But yeah, otherwise, I simply cannot do it. I cannot afford it here on this channel, unfortunately. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. And we have another one by... 1 second. Let me see. Okay. By Mentis, $5. Thank you very much. Says, MashaAllah. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. Now let's listen to this absolute scientific research here from Madeline Hansen. The Facebook post. This is amazing, man. Wait, let me just put it on like here so we really see that it's Facebook. It's great. Okay. Let's jump into the research. I just have to say one more time. How liberal do you have to be, honestly, to take as evidence a Facebook post from a woman? That's amazing.
Being Muslim.
Let's go.
So I wanted to share this post on Facebook, which I thought was actually quite telling, by Madeline. Here's what it's actually like as a woman in the West. We don't sleep with hundreds of men. Most of us prefer having long-term boyfriends and then settling down with ones we really like around 30, 35. We just don't have...
Oh, man, that hurts so bad. It's absolutely insane. I really can't believe this. So this guy talks about all kinds of fallacies, right? So he's seeking objective truth here, it appears. Then he shows me this Facebook post from Madeline, and she begins, of course, with, this is how it actually is to be a woman in the West, right? This is how it actually is. So because that woman on Facebook said it, therefore this is scientific fact. This is the reality of every single woman, right? This is not a fallacy now, right? We're not talking about some sort of, wait a second, let me scroll back here. We're not talking about the dilemma fallacy here, right? So she's not describing her dilemma. She's not describing her perspective. And no. This is absolutely objectively true, right? Because Madeline said so. Right? And Madeline says, hey, listen, guys, we're not sleeping with hundreds of men. Again, that's not a false dilemma, right? No. It's not. We're actually sleeping just with 10 guys, right? We prefer long-term relationships, you know? And then when we like somebody, then we settle. So we have sex with all of those guys, right? We like them, but then, like, after comparing them, then we choose somebody that we like. And the prerequisite is that we have sex with all of them. Right? And that's what we prefer. Man, with how many women have you talked in your life, dude? This is so ridiculous. Have you ever talked to a woman, to a Western woman in your life? You don't understand them, apparently. When I talked to women back in the day, when I used to be young, and I went out to the clubs, women will respond to you in a certain way if you behave in a certain way. So if you are boyfriend material, she will act like a girlfriend. Believe it or not, yes, women are deceptive, my friend. I know that you don't see it, but it is unfortunately the truth. If you are marriage material, she will act like a wifey. And if you present yourself as a playboy, she will act like a peep. Yes, she will. I know that this will trigger many, many people, but this is really the case. And I'm talking about, again, secular women. I'm not talking about a religious woman because she actually has fear of God. No, I'm talking about a simple, Western, liberal, secular woman. And I've met plenty of them, believe me, for better or for worse. At least I can talk about it now. Those women, if you tell them how much money you make, how well off you are, what kind of job you have, that you have a little sister or something, a dog that you take care of, she will look at you as a boyfriend or as husband material. If you just invite for drinks, you're fun, you're the light of the party, she will just see you as an F-boy. Yes, that is really the case. So therefore, again, to come back to your scientific research here on Facebook, when that woman says that we prefer, what is it, relationships, long-term relationships, we prefer that with boyfriends, yeah, that doesn't exclude, however, that that exact woman, Madeline, slept around as well. She might not prefer that, but whoopsie, had a few too many drinks. Oh well, the girls left me. I was alone in the club. Whoopsie. One thing led to another. You're so blue-pilled, man. And I hate the red pill, by the way, but really, there's such a blue pill perspective. You've never talked to women. Or they simply played you, basically. Women will prefer boyfriends. Yeah, go figure. But she implies here, or at least does not exclude, of course, that by preferring something, there is something that you don't really like, but hey, it can happen. You don't understand the West, man. I lived in the West. You know how many women jump from boyfriend to boyfriend, and every time when they were not in a relationship that they prefer, they had one-night stands. What are you talking about, man? Pathetic. Really pathetic.
By Madeline, here's what it's actually like as a woman in the West. We don't sleep with hundreds of men. Most of us prefer having long-term boyfriends and then settling down with ones we really like around 30.
Look at his face, you know, he really gets into the role. He really discovers his own feminine side. He loves it.
35. We just don't have the same stigma of being disgusting if you aren't a virgin. So no one cares if you went out with Mark or David for a year and then dated John for a bit before meeting your husband. Casual sex is still pretty frowned upon if you're doing it more than a few times and indiscreetly.
Dude, you're just proving my point, you absolute imbecilic person. What is this, man? She tells you there, right, that you're not being judged if you slept around or whatever you did there with Johnny Boy. That's exactly what she's telling you, right? You could have been with somebody and then with another one and then with another one, have sex with all of them. Nobody will judge you. But promiscuous sex is still kind of frowned upon if you do it too often. Ha ha ha. And what is too often in this day and age, man? You don't understand this. Of course there are extremes. Again, certain women, and I know them personally, really, for better or for worse, that have sex with hundreds of men, really disgusting. But nowadays, for a woman to have sex with 10 guys prior to marriage is not a big deal anymore. Do you understand this? This is what she's talking about. Genuinely. And that's why she started, is what we're saying. We're not sleeping with hundreds. Not with hundreds. It's just double digits. It's not triple digits after all. Right? It's just 99. You absolute idiot, man. Look how pathetic this is. I don't know if I should pity you. Or if I should... Well, I really don't know how to react to this. This is insane. You really do not know the psychology of women. Especially not Western women. That's crazy. She is explicitly saying this. It is okay to sleep around as long as you call it boyfriend and girlfriend. In Islam, this is fornication. It does not matter that you perceive it as a boyfriend, as a girlfriend, as a one-night stand. It's all the same. It's all fornication. With Mark or David or with John. Right? And as long as you don't sleep around routinely, then it's all fine. It's okay. You idiot, man. Oh.
Sex is still pretty frowned upon if you're doing it more than a few times and indiscreetly. It would, however, be considered funny, pathetic, or backwards to expect your girlfriend to be a virgin around 21.
Exactly, so there you go, right? And again, he's just proving my point. That's exactly what I'm saying. This is the woman here on this end. This is the woman that I'm warning you against. This is what will destroy your life, because this woman has the perspective that it would be funny, right? What does she say? Pathetic even. It would be pathetic or backwards if you would expect your girlfriend to be a virgin at 21. right? This is how far the West has fallen. It would be pathetic of you, you pathetic little loser, to really think that your woman can be a virgin at 21. What are you thinking? That's crazy, right? She already had sex with Mark and John. Obviously. You don't see it, right? You really don't see it, man. Wow.
Most women don't wear hot pants and bras. What you're seeing is pictures of students at bars and at bars and nightclubs where that's more acceptable. Normal day attire here is jeans and a shirt or leggings and a hoodie.
I can't anymore. Really. I need help, people. I need help. I need a massage. My head hurts. It's too much. This is absolutely insanity. So this woman again tells you we're not wearing hot pants and bras on a daily basis. What is this, man? Yeah, they're wearing it to go out to nightclubs where it's more socially acceptable. Who cares what is socially acceptable? This is not ultimate truth. This is simply a societal standard. Go back, I'm going to give you the dumb old example, go back to Second World War, right? Go back to Germany at that time. There was a certain behavior that was socially acceptable. Is it therefore right? Is it therefore right? Appeal to majority. Appeal to majority. Here with your dumb face. Wow. I'm going to lose it, man. I'm going to really take my laptop here and throw it out the window. This is insane. It's enraging. She's telling you in that pathetic little text that Western women like to go to clubs where they wear hot pants, right? When they're students. Oh, who cares? We're just students. There, they get drunk and have promiscuous sex. Nothing else happens there. It's not about boyfriends, girlfriends now. You understand? They go out there to drink alcohol, to have sex. That's what it is. And she says it. And you are showing me this here as your scientific peer-reviewed research, and somehow this should now open my eyes. You know what? He did it, guys. He did it. Islam is wrong after all. Now I see. Now I see the light. I've been misjudging those people in the West. They're actually not wearing hot pants all the time. Oh, alhamdulillah. I've been wrong. They're not wearing hot pants all the time. Just on the weekend when they want to have sex and drink alcohol. Oh, thank God. Oh, they're actually not having sex with hundreds of men. Not everybody. Just with 10. Mark and John. Oh, thank God. You saved me, man. Honestly, now this whole charade is over. I've been just pretending, right? I've never been Muslim. I don't want to be Muslim anymore. I want to be like you. You convinced me. I want such a woman. Where do I find such a woman? I want a woman that wears hot pants and has sex on the weekend and drinks alcohol. That would be great. Please show me. Show me your ways. Great master.
Most women are not teen single moms with prisoner baby daddies. That's entirely a meme. I know 2 to 5 women who had children in my generation. I'm 27 and only one of them is single. Also, it's extremely common to remarry here and to adopt and raise stepchildren. Don't base your understanding of the world on a...
Wait. Also, it is extremely common to remarry here and to adopt, raise children. Yeah, again, I rest my case. What is going on here? Is this guy completely blind? This is what I've been talking about. I talked about the freedoms in the West. And they lead to depression and destruction. And now you show me this. How is this good? They're telling you that their marriages are failing. They already have a divorce rate of 50% and up. So she tells you it's absolutely alright to get divorced and remarry. I rest my case. Yet again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They have promiscuous sex, they're drinking alcohol, they're dressing up like sluts, and then they get divorced. Case closed. What's going on, man? What is this?
A tiny minority of people right at the bottom of the social system. Number 4, we absolutely would be shamed and abused if we wore. Number 2, in public. We'd also be asked to go home and change if we wore things like that to work. You've just watched too much Andrew Tate content. Number 5, women over here are...
No, again, that is not the case. You don't understand it. Again, Islamically speaking, we do not care about the context in your worldview. In your worldview, it is alright to wear a bikini to the beach. That is not alright, Islamically speaking. And again, I live in Thailand. If you go to the rural areas here, it's actually quite endearing. The women, they wear t-shirts and shorts daytime, but long white t-shirts and long shorts. And then when they go to the beach, they wear the same attire. And I asked them back then, why don't you wear a bathing suit or bikini, back in my 20s when I was a degenerate myself? And their answer was, why would I? I wouldn't go out like that on the street, so therefore why would I do that on the beach? This is underwear. I wouldn't wear that, right? So this is a Buddhist perspective, if you will, or just common sense. The context in this instance really doesn't matter. If you wouldn't run around with your underwear outside, then you shouldn't do that at the beach either. And if you shouldn't wear hot pants and bras, then you shouldn't do that in a club either. Do you understand this? This is indecent exposure. Within a club, it is allowed because that club is 18 plus. But it is not therefore morally right, just because you're not exposing yourself to children. It is even worse, because you gather in a place where you consume alcohol, which is a drug in my book, absolutely, just because it's legal yet again. This would be an absolute, again, another fallacy when you have the appeal to authority ultimately. Yeah, the state allows it. The state allows it. Alcohol is legal, and therefore it's not a drug. Weed is a drug. No, it's both drugs. Simple. They gather in a place where they consume drugs, and then they have promiscuous sex, and they want to attract each other, obviously, especially the women, with décolletés, with bras, with hot pants, thongs popping out, and whatnot. I've been there. I know exactly what they do. Right? So how is this a positive example? You're describing a failed society. That's literally what you're describing here, dear Madeline.
Expected to finish school and work. Women are actually more likely to finish education and to gain employment. Very good point. You're expected to have a job.
What? Did I miss this? What's the good point? Women over here are expected to finish school and work. Yeah. Women are actually more likely to finish education and to gain employment. Yeah. Very good point. What's good about that? Yet again, the only reason why they started employing women back in the day was to have more taxes. Yes, because then they could tax both parties in the household. That's literally what it boiled down to. That's why they start empowering women. And of course, it is to break the family. But that would be too deep for today's video. Anyways, the point of the story is, of course, this is not positive. What is positive in our worldview, and this is why, alhamdulillah, I am Muslim, in our worldview, the woman is precious. She doesn't have to work at all. My wife doesn't have to work at all. And guess what? I married an educated woman. She studied business. She has 2 master's degrees, believe it or not. So she actually settled for less here for stupid little Bobby. But after all, Bobby's providing, right? I have 2 children. I'm providing for everybody. We have a beautiful home now. We just moved. We're living in Thailand. It is fantastic, right? But I'm providing, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I can provide for my wife, for my children, and see my wife at home, being a mother, and taking care of my 2 children. There is nothing better in life. I do not want her to be employed. Why would she be employed? She will be employed and bring coffee to her boss. Yes, boss, you want some more milk, some more sugar? Yeah, serve the boss, serve another man. Why not serve me? Why not serve me? Right? And I take care of everything else. Everything else is covered. Isn't that fantastic? That's how life should be. It's amazing. But you want, because you're pathetic and you cannot provide for your wife or for your girlfriend or whatever you are, for your husband, you said, your husband shouldn't hit you. You can't provide, and therefore you're very, very upset, right? And they should work too. We should split the bill, honey. We should split it.
Job, earn your own money. It's extremely unusual unless you're incredibly generationally wealthy and spoiled not to. We all pay our own rent and taxes and buy our food. A man providing everything is...
Yes, exactly. They're all paying their own taxes, and therefore you're making your government richer. It's a fantastic inside job that you fell for. Congratulations. It's amazing. Let me rewind a little bit.
All pay our own rent and taxes and buy our food. A man providing everything is extremely frowned upon. So we're not the sugar babies you think we are.
Yeah, again, nobody thinks that Western women are sugar babies, because they're certainly not. No, they're empowered women, right? And they're working by themselves, and they became very masculine, and it's extremely unattractive. Because when you are a masculine man, you're actually attracted to a feminine woman, and then everything is fine. Everything is amazing, and the woman actually wants to submit to you as well. She doesn't want to work. She wants to stay at home. She wants to be a mother. If you're a pathetic soy boy, then she needs to become more masculine, and then she will tell you that it's a good thing to pay taxes, and hey, you cannot expect me to be a virgin at 20. John, what are you expecting? I already was with Mark. It's ridiculous. Yet again, don't you understand this, man? But no, you don't understand it. You really don't see it. You're such a blue-pilled cuck. It's insane.
Last point, the whole designer bags, drugs, diamonds, fast car thing is a low-class criminal culture. It would be extremely frowned upon me to date a drug dealer criminal and wear all brand Gucci and drive a Mercedes. I could laugh.
Yeah, again, like this is not a made-up example at all, right? Who told you that Western women are all dating drug dealers? What are you talking about?
I'd go so far as to say that even having a sports car is a bit embarrassing and is seen as showing off. Extreme wealth signaling is considered cheap. So there you go.
Yeah, that is in white circles, sure, the case. I mean, white people, you see that in Germany as well, they were always kind of ashamed of their wealth. That is correct. So, for example, I come from the Balkan originally, and everybody knows that, right? Once the Balkan dad makes the money, he buys a Mercedes. It's crystal clear. Everybody has to see the Mercedes. The Germans, on the other hand, probably even making more money, they wouldn't get a Mercedes. They would get a Honda or Toyota or Volkswagen maybe. They never want to show off to boast. So, yeah, that is correct, that most Westerners actually don't want to boast. But it doesn't matter, because that has nothing to do with the rest of the points. The rest of the points clearly described the degenerative culture within the West, because all of the points that she described, such as fornication, such as partying, such as dressing up, ultimately led to the thing that she mentioned then, divorce. Right, most are divorced, and then we're adopting, and this and that, and exactly. And she's 27, and she's still not married. So give her 3 more years, and she's gonna sing a totally different tune. That's exactly what I said. I said that now you're talking about certain things that you have no clue about once your beauty is gone. Because once you're in your 30s and you're still not married, you will get depressed. That is the reality of things. You don't understand that because you have no idea about the psychology of women.
Explained it so beautifully. This is like a perfect comeback to this guy. Right?
Yeah, it was perfect comeback. You saw it. It absolutely shattered my worldview. As I said, I'm becoming an apostate right now. That's it. It is such a beautiful comeback. This woman cemented it, right? This is it, friendly ex-Muslim. Instead of showing me some sort of data, some sort of scientific data of the West, showing me divorce rates or measures of happiness within the households, etc., you name it. No, not at all. You showed me a woman that actually is promiscuous. That's what you showed me. You showed me a woman that promotes clubbing culture, that promotes having multiple boyfriends until you then eventually settle. You showed me a woman that is 27 and hasn't settled yet. Absolutely fantastic. She really showed that Bobby misogynist.
And what he's saying, the nonsense he's saying.
That's nonsense.
Like how he's mischaracterizing the West, and he's creating a straw man. This is what they do.
How am I creating a straw man? I absolutely agree with her text. Everything that she said is correct. That's what I'm saying. Yes, people in the West fornicate, drink alcohol, end up divorced. That's what she wrote. What was so beautiful about this text? What did you see there?
These Islamists, they create this like imaginary opponent.
Oh, wait. Now I'm an Islamist. I thought I'm just a revert, right? Just Bobby preaching here. He hasn't been Muslim long. But now I'm an Islamist.
Everyone's feminist and feminazi and they don't want to have kids and whatever. Like, this is not the norm.
That's... The guy doesn't get it. Okay. He's a bit slow. He really doesn't understand it. The behavior that she described there is feminist. You don't understand that. You do not have to be a caricature of a feminist, of a blue-haired feminist, in order to be a feminist. Because a woman that takes the stance that you are absolutely backwards if you expect her to be a virgin at 21 is a feminist. Don't you understand? A woman that is talking about women going out, essentially dressing up as they want with hot pants, etc., that is a feminist. Again, you don't have to be a feminist activist, but you're still holding feminist values. And guess what? Dear friendly ex-Muslim, you're a feminist too, because you agree with that rhetoric. Just look into feminism, what it declares, first wave, second wave feminism, and you will see that you are actually a feminist, just as that woman that wrote the text. That's why you agree with her.
This is not what most people in the West are doing, right? And
exactly what she described is what most people in the West are doing, and that is wrong.
So the other thing too is that he's saying that...
You know what? Listening to this guy, he probably is together with a Western woman. Probably. He's probably cucked by a Western woman, and that Western woman already had multiple sex partners, and she told him that's absolutely all right. Hey, friendly ex-Muslim, it's okay that I slept with John. So what? Now I'm sleeping with you. Now you are honey.
Career,
It's your
and
time.
they have a dead-end job. Well, if they focus on their career and they didn't have kids, they'd probably be having a highly satisfying job. Right? Just think about it. Like, if they're like not bothering with kids, then
Not bothering with kids. There you go. This guy really believes it. And that's what I'm saying. You know, this is why those ex-Muslims are absolutely amazing. Because if you have one brain cell left, you will see how pathetic this is. And it will lead you straight to Islam. Because this is the alternative. You have a guy there sitting, justifying... I can't even pronounce it anymore. He's justifying women drinking alcohol, being promiscuous. That's what he's justifying. And he's promoting women to pursue... I have to laugh. He's promoting women to pursue a career where they make good money and become childless. That's literally everything I warned against. Literally everything I warned against. And this is what you are repeating here. And you are seeing it as good. How is this good, man? This woman, and you can see testimony after testimony, even check it on YouTube if you want to. Women talking about how they pursued a career. In their 20s, they were happy. Yes, absolutely. Short-term gratification. They were happy climbing up that corporal ladder. And then they ended up childless. And now they hate themselves. Case closed. This is what happens all the time. This is what I'm warning against. But again, there is no talking to those people because this man actually perceives it as something good. A woman that stays childless. You have to be so far removed, first and foremost from God, that's why you're an ex-Muslim, but even from nature. If you stay childless and you focus on a man-made career, you're weeding your genes out of existence. Do you get this? Your genes are not continuing. So you failed at the game of life. You're not creating any children. Don't you understand? You're a sterile nothing. A sterile corporate number. Somebody that was climbing a man-made stair. Somebody opened up that company. He's sitting in the back, laughing to the bank. And you're working there. Yes, boss. Can I get this promotion that we talked about 3 years ago? Yes, boss. Can I get maybe 2 days more holiday? Man, what are you talking about? And then, after a while, for what? You made some good money? Okay, fine. What you gonna do with it? Oh, go to holidays. Go to holidays. Girls' night out. Woohoo! That's fun for a few years. And then you hit 30s. And that's not fun anymore. And then you enter your 40s. And that's really no fun anymore. And then you're gonna die alone. Oh, he's painting this disgusting picture, blah, blah. It happens to women. It is a reality, don't you understand? There are even studies done on women not being satisfied when pursuing a career. It's true. The biggest happiness levels are observed in women that are mothers. Go figure, right? So what are you promoting here? You're promoting the destruction of the family, which is, by the way, a feminist ideal.
Good at the job, right? The other thing too is that, like, the whole thing about Tinder and whatever, like, finding a spouse, you have to go through the same challenge, whether you like delay having kids or don't delay having kids. That point is so dumb. Even Muslims use things like Muzmatch and whatever, you know, Muslima.com or whatever, these different.
Okay, wait a second, man. What are you talking about? Yet again, when we are talking about using technology for a certain cause, okay, fine, that cause can be positive or negative. So I can sit on the computer and watch something wholesome, right? I can watch some religious content. Okay. Or I can go on the dark web and see the absolute atrocities committed by humans. Right? I can see that too. So same medium, same technology. One is for the positive, one is for the negative. Right? Very, very simple. I can take a knife and put some butter on my bread. Or I can take that knife and go out and kill somebody. Right? You understand that? So now, you're talking about, yeah, but some Muslims, they're using those dating apps. It's not a dating app, right? You're looking for a marriage. That's the first premise. So this is not about just hooking up. Tinder, on the other hand, and you know that, I hope, is a hookup app. This is what people use it for. Everybody knows that Tinder is not an app for serious relationships. That's just what it is. There are other apps for that. I don't know how they're called. Cupid something. Whatever. There are different apps for different relationships, if you will, in the West as well. But to compare that is like apples and oranges. If there is a Muslim app, it is made for marriage. That's that. To get to know people that are potentially interested in marriage. Tinder is just for sex. So what are you talking about? Yet again, man, this is so... It's the lowest of the barrel, man.
Islamic dating websites or matrimonial websites.
It's not a dating... Ah! Ex-Muslim, yeah? Ex-Muslim, for sure, man. You're absolutely ex-Muslim. Dating is haram, so therefore it cannot even be a dating app. You absolute imbecile. It's haram. It's not a dating app. It's an app in order to register, see people, screen people, and then pursue marriage. You get it? Unbelievable.
The fact is that everyone has to go through the same process of finding a partner, and nowadays it's mostly online, right? And there's two things to mention here. As a parent, well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with not having kids or delaying kids, right? Like, that's a perfectly good option if that's what you want to do. Like,
how is it? He's just saying things now. Okay, let's just say things. It's a perfectly good option. If you want to eat hamburgers, it's a perfectly good option, right? If you want to jump off a bridge, it's a perfectly good option. If you want to... How is it a perfectly good option to not have children? Why is it a perfectly good option? Can you give me any example of why that is a good option? Everybody knows that there are psychological benefits of having children. Everybody knows there are psychological benefits of not dying alone in... Oh, man. I can't anymore, really. I'm frying my brain here. Is it great to die as a grandpa without having your children around, your grandchildren around? Is that fantastic? Right, to die alone in your flat. Is that great now? There are no benefits. It's a perfectly good option to just not have kids. It's a perfectly good option to not get married. Nowadays, everything is portrayed as just being a perfectly good option. Just do whatever you want. That is liberalism, you damn idiot. Don't you understand? This is exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what we're warning about. Pathetic idiots like yourself. Puh, I spit on you. Absolutely insane, man. You drive me nuts. Just listening to this nonsense over and over again. I can't see it anymore. What are you talking about? How is this a good option? Of course they come to such conclusions. You know why? Because in their worldview, there are no objective morals. There is no right and wrong. There is no true and false. There is no good and evil. It is just your opinion, dude. You can do whatever you want. That's exactly what it boils down to. Do whatever you want. If you want to have children, oh, that's great. If you don't want to have children, oh, that's great. If you want to eat a steak, oh, that's great. If you don't want to eat a steak, just eat vegan. That's great too. You want to feed your kids vegan? Yeah, that's great as well. It's perfectly suitable for all stages of life. Yes. You damn pathetic shadow of a man. What are you? What are you promoting? What do you stand for? How is it good not to have children? What are you talking about? Who is watching this channel? For what? Honestly, blows my butt. Because people like that destroy civilizations. Ooh, Islam has apostasy laws. Yeah, because of you, man.
He shouldn't be shaming women. It's always women. Always shaming women.
Yes, I shame women. I shame men as well. I shame you.
And
I shame all of you guys. And you know what? There should be more shaming within society. Oh, don't fat shame me. Congratulations. Have you seen the last report? It was 10 fatfluencers, whatever they are. They were supporting and promoting being fat. Fat is beautiful. They all died. They're all dead now. They should be shamed. You know what? I was shamed. When I was 9 years old, I was chubby. I was eating chocolate every night behind my bed. I was a chubby little fat kid. And I was being bullied. And I got shamed. And I didn't know what to do. And once I found out how to manipulate my diet with 12 years old, because I was shamed, I thank everybody that shamed me. I actually went on a diet and I shredded down. And then I got into bodybuilding. And to this very day, in my 30s, I'm in tip-top shape. When I look around, man, guys in my age, they look disgusting nowadays. From people that I know from back in the day. Bloated, belly, they look like 60, man. Disgusting. Thank God I got shamed. I love it. I thank everybody. I wish I could shake their hands, give them a hug. Thank you very much for shaming me. I'm so happy. Because it changed my life for the better. And those fat people that died now, they should have been shamed as well. They would be happy now if they were to be shamed back in the day, because then they would be alive. People should be shamed. But you are a feminist. Again, I rest my case. You're just making all the points for me. All the points. That's not feminism. You are a feminist. She shouldn't be shamed. That's a feminist point. This is so low IQ. Man, this is insane. I didn't expect this, honestly. Fantastic.
with not having kids or delaying kids, right? Like that's a perfectly good option if that's what you
It's a
want to do.
perfectly good option.
Like, he shouldn't be shaming women. It's always
1 second. We have another super chat by Omar. Zoom party. Brother, honestly, man, I've been just moving. This is why I couldn't respond. I saw that you wrote me. Thank you very much. He says, Salam, nice to see you. Salam, good program, nice to see you. Good program, nice to see you. Thank you very much, brother. Very, very soon I'm going to get in touch. I have so many messages to respond to. I was moving for the past 2 or 3 weeks. It was just too much to get to everybody back. But promised, inshallah, soon we will talk. Thank you very much. Abdullah Alk, another donation. Thank you very much, bro. 1 second. My mouse is going crazy. $5. I keep seeing a lot of attacks on Muslim countries from Muslims on Twitter. Just as there are no perfect Muslims, there aren't perfect Muslim countries. Yeah. Send you a short video on Bobby, okay, my email, regarding Prophet Hadith. Would like your view on the issue. Okay, thank you very much, brother. I will check out my email and then I will respond to it. About the statement with the perfect Muslim countries, etc., nobody expects them to be perfect, but again, I don't want to dive too deep into the topic now. But in not supporting Palestine, for me, is just an absolute deal breaker. To not support Palestine as a Muslim country, for me, is just the most un-Islamic thing that you can do. Nobody expects perfection, but that is just, yeah, non-Islamic. Okay, let's proceed with this video. I think I'm going to get a heart attack.
as women, always shaming women for doing that, right? Or delaying having kids. And
Yes, absolutely. And I shame my male friends as well for delaying having kids. Male and women, both.
me, as a parent, I would say the same thing. Raising kids is hard. I tell my own male kids, never mind females, my own sons, that don't settle down and have kids at least like until you've lived some of your life. Don't, at that young age, your prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed. You're still trying to learn and figure out life. Financially, you might not be that stable. Having kids is expensive, and there's a lot of sacrifice needed having kids, right?
How is having kids expensive, man? Oh, it's not a lie that they tell you. How is it expensive? Generally, how is it expensive? When I look at my kids, what do they eat? How is it expensive? Having kids, I spend money on them, surely, but being so involved in their life, I spend way less on myself. That's it. And what do they eat? It's so little, I'm wondering how they survive, to be totally honest. They eat so little, it doesn't cost me anything, basically. So then it boils down to which schools you send them. So yes, I'm sending my son here to a very, very fancy kindergarten. That's my fault. You don't have to, right? It's not expensive whatsoever, especially not if you're living in a welfare state, like in Germany, for example, where the kindergarten is free. Kids are not expensive whatsoever. You send them to kindergarten, you send them to daycare. On the weekend, you buy them ice cream. Every day, they're eating steaks here, eggs, fantastic. It's not pricey whatsoever. I spent way more money when I was in my 20s. And you as a dad, pathetic advice, but I wouldn't expect anything less from you. Hey, just live your life, dude. Just live your life, bro, and then settle down later.
Right, so I have, I've raised 5 kids myself.
Congratulations.
So I can tell you from experience that I don't know if Bobby has kids, like what he's, always bashing is doing about, these people don't want to have kids. Well, raising kids is hard.
Yeah, I do have 2 kids. Inshallah, we'll have more. It is hard, but it's the best thing ever. And for you, I assume it was the best thing as well. Otherwise, why make 5, right? MashaAllah.
Commitment, and it's something that you should only do if you're willing to go through with it, to stick to it, and to go through all the way and, take care of the kids and invest in them and spend time with them and all that, right?
Yeah.
There's a very real risk of
What's up? Sure.
having kids with the wrong person. And then you have to suffer your whole life, right? Having this potential bad influence in their lives, right? Because you really need to make sure. So it's even worse having kids with the wrong person than just not having kids, right? You want to have, and it's wrong to assume that this is the only way to be fulfilled, right?
Okay, so what's the alternative now? Now you're just saying because somebody could potentially have kids with the wrong person, whatever that means, they shouldn't have kids. You simply screen beforehand, and then, God willing, everything is fine. And that's just normal. Everybody knows that. But nowadays, through Hollywood and whatnot, through dating culture, people cannot compromise whatsoever. Oh, he's not perfect. She's not perfect. Oh, the romance is not there anymore. No, it is about kids. It is about creating kids. You won't find the perfect partner, right? Only God is perfect. So therefore, if you're looking for some unrealistic things, then you're not going to find it anyways. So what are you talking about? Having kids with the wrong way? That's not an argument, man. That is just what happens. Of course, it can happen that somebody marries somebody and they're not happy with each other, etc., etc. Of course. But what's the alternative? Again, in the West, it is jumping from one partner to another partner and then being super unsatisfied anyways. And the more people women dated, the less they are likely to end up being happy. Because they compare one to the other. Every human has certain qualities. Honestly, I had this talk, I think it was 2 months ago roughly, with a woman that I know from back in the day. She was going into detail. It was disgusting. She was going into detail about every ex-partner and what kind of beautiful attributes those guys had. One was really good to chill out and smoke weed. Yeah, that is very important. One was so cool to party with. The other one, obviously, the sex was amazing. The other one was such a good cook, etc., etc., you name it. All those details. And she just couldn't find the perfect partner that has it all. She's still single. Still sleeping around. So what kind of alternative is that? It's a non-argument. Of course you will have people that will be with somebody that is wrong for them. Duh. And therefore now, as a blanket statement, as advice on the internet, we should say, yeah, well, wait till you're older. Because you could settle with somebody that is wrong for you. Okay? You could settle with somebody that's wrong for you in your 30s as well. And then you're doubly screwed. Because then, who are you going to remarry? Somebody in their 30s and then they're infertile. What are you talking about? It's a non-argument.
Many ways to be fulfilled in life. You're not going to be like a, a cat lady, right? Like as my...
Yeah, but you're not going to be. You're just not going to be. It never happens. Dude, I told you firsthand, you have no idea how many women end up as cat ladies, dog ladies. It is rampant in the West. Do you think everybody gets married? Of course not. And moreover, yet again, 50% of those marriages get divorced. So don't you see the problem here?
My girlfriend said she'd rather be a cat lady than go with Ali Dawa. Ali Dawa is always making these jokes about cat ladies.
See, there you go, his girlfriend. There you go. He has 5 kids and now he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, well,
congrats.
I'm pretty sure, pretty much every woman out there would rather be a cat lady than go with Ali Dawa. So, yeah, just take that.
Take that.
Take the L, Ali Dawa.
Take the L.
Another thing too that's kind
Take the L, Ali Dawa. Take the L from my girlfriend, my Western girlfriend that had sex with Mark previously and now is with me here. Now we settled down and she certainly wouldn't date you. Take the L, Ali.
funny is he's talking about dead-end job. Does Bobby even have a job? Does he
No, I actually run multiple businesses. Thank you.
even have a career? Does he even have any job satisfaction despite...
No, because job is actually a description for J-O-B, just over broke. So no, I do not have a job whatsoever, proud to say, and I run multiple businesses. Thank you very much.
whatever he's doing in life, being an Islamic man, whatever he thinks he is, right? And as Madeline was saying, more women...
Okay, whatever things. Okay, as I said, first and foremost, no, I don't have a job. And I would say that anybody that can get out of the rat race, it would be absolutely fantastic for you. Not everybody is made for it. It's a huge hustle for sure. But if you are not fit for a job, then you know it in your heart and then you simply cannot do it. For me, that was always crystal clear. And therefore, alhamdulillah, I made it. I have multiple online venues and side businesses that are going, alhamdulillah, very, very well. So do I see myself as an Islamic man? I see myself as a believer first and foremost. And that led me to Islam, alhamdulillah. I always believed in God. And that led me through life, essentially. Every single time I would look at life, I would always ask God for guidance, and that led me to Islam. So therefore, do I see myself as an Islamic man? No, you're a liberal idiot, and that's why you have to come up with such labels. I'm simply a believer, somebody that believes in God, and therefore Islam is the end of that road. Islam is the total submission to God, and this is what I accepted in my life. This was something that I was seeking all my life. I simply want to submit my will to God and do what is right in front of God. You, on the other hand, want to do what is right in front of your Western girlfriend.
Women complete college than men. We're talking about education, right? Like, you have more women doing this than men. So again, he got it wrong, right?
Where did I get it wrong? Where did I doubt that more women in the West get educated? What are you talking about? Again, he's just lying. I never said that. I said that it would be, I didn't even say it in that video to begin with, but I said that it would be preferable for a woman not to work. I said, here you're stuck in a dead-end job. Maybe he's misinterpreting what I'm saying. I didn't mean with a dead-end job that you're working at McDonald's. For me, a dead-end job is any job that doesn't fulfill you. That's a dead-end job. You could be a successful lawyer. If it doesn't fulfill you, it's a dead-end job because it's not leading anywhere, not to happiness.
His analogy about eating hamburgers and not going to the gym, well, women are actually working hard and doing well in life, and this is a guide even better than men. So I don't...
Yes, and that's exactly the problem, you idiot. Yet again, I have to repeat this. You're extremely idiotic in your approach, and you are not able to see what anybody is saying around you. You're just listening to the video, and you're not listening it. You rather read Facebook posts of liberal women. Again, that is the whole issue here. The issue is that women are pursuing careers rather than being mothers, and therefore they end up miserable in most cases. That is it.
I don't know what he's saying.
Well,
and just one quick point about what she said about mental health.
I know that you don't know.
No one in the right mental health. I wouldn't use such strong language like that about people that are Muslim. I don't think that's like a good way to put it. It's not like a mental health thing. Obviously, we evolved to be religious. It's something that we culturally,
evolution.
It's a very strong meme as well. So it's not like...
Isn't that quite interesting, though? If you take the position of a Darwinist, right? You take the position of somebody that is subscribing to Darwinian evolution. Then you look at it, you talk about survival of the fittest, and somehow then you deduct that, yeah, well, it's absolutely normal. It's a side product that we became religious. That's just part of evolution. If evolution truly is this random process of surviving of the fittest, of the strongest gene, the selfish gene that will survive, what reason would there be for a religious framework in our minds? It would be absolutely counterintuitive, counterproductive, right? That is not anything that any other life form ever evolved. Why would we evolve that? Such an absolute false perception, according to you, right? Why would we have that innate predisposition if it is absolutely wrong? Makes you think.
Obviously, you're not mentally ill if you follow religion. I disagree with her on that frame.
And his name is Abdullah, apparently. I saw there, Abdullah Samir. Actually, you know how many reverts take new names? You should do too, because you're not Abdullah. You're not the servant of Allah. Definitely not, man. Take another name, John or Mark.
But I disagree with Bobby on everything he said.
I know,
obviously,
I know you do, because you're a liberal.
Like,
She's still young.
this is what I do.
I don't know if you heard that, what he said. She's still young.
I think everybody heard that. It was pretty loud, yeah.
Just remember that. We're going to get back to this, what he said.
Yeah, I said it multiple times here again. Yeah, she's still young. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's in her 20s, probably, maybe a bit younger even, maybe 19. And she thinks now she's liberated in the West. She will sleep around a little bit and then she will get frustrated. I know that type.
Yeah,
That's why I don't believe.
But you know the Muslim, you know, because I actually reach out to Muslim because we love people. They
love
deny
people.
this. They say, oh, women get a lot of rights. And many Western women even
Because
become
they don't want to
Muslims.
admit it. They don't want to admit that there's a lot of wrong things in Islam. But if you read,
Define wrong.
the
Explain many wrong things. Of course, you cannot explain it. I wouldn't expect anything here from a 20-year-old woman. However,
Whoa.
Whoa,
Oh,
whoa.
slow down there, Bobby.
Yeah, why?
On one hand,
Make me.
you'd be happy to marry this 20-year-old woman.
Not her. Definitely not. Other 20-year-olds, sure, but not her.
Right? You'd be happy to do that. Well, how old are you? How old is this guy? 40, 45? He'd
63.
gladly marry her. But at the same time, he's saying, I wouldn't expect anything. That's the second time.
Now, yet again, you're making a statement. It's not true. I wouldn't marry her at all. Why would I marry her? She's a disbeliever. Of course, I don't want a disbelieving woman. Why would I marry her? Just because she's 20? That's ridiculous. There are plenty of other 20-year-olds out there.
He said she's young. She's a young woman.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anything from a 20-year-old woman. Notice how he assumes things about people and how he's just like the misogyny. It's just like, what is
Yes, absolute proud misogynist. You probably can't even define what misogyny is. Misogyny means hating women. I don't hate women whatsoever. I want the best for them. Otherwise, why would I speak about this? Do I want her now to go down the route of having boyfriend after boyfriend, having sex, drinking alcohol in the West, eating pig and whatnot. Do you want that for her? No, I actually want good for her. Why wouldn't I? I don't even know her, but I generally want good for any person, even for you. I would like her to believe in God, first and foremost, have her priorities straight, and live a good life. Because I know that she will be frustrated. You, on the other hand, I'm going to make an assumption yet again, you don't really understand women. You don't get them. Especially not women in their 20s, apparently. Women in their 20s come up with all kinds of crazy ideas due to the attention that they're getting. It is the case. Women that are halfway pretty, let's say anything from on a scale from 1 to 10, anything let's say 6.5, 7, would get sufficient attention from men in order to then be deluded into believing that they never need to settle down. When they hit 30, they realize they really need to. And then they're going to look for that partner to come. They're going to be frustrated with that partner, however, because they're not going to respect him either. Because that partner then settled for less. Instead of getting a righteous, good woman, he got some random woman that had been run through, essentially. That's what it is. And therefore she won't respect him either. And therefore it will lead to frustration. That is the dire scenario that is happening quite often. And if you want to say, oh, that's an extreme scenario, that's not happening. Again, 50% of marriages are divorced. Why is that so? Just ask yourself the question. And therefore, yet again, it boils down to, yes, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Yes, I assume that because I have enough experience with 20-year-old chicks. In their 20s, they have no clue. Everything changes about them. Their sexual drive changes tremendously. Their outlook on life, their perception of how valuable they are. It's quite interesting because if you look at women, once they hit puberty, once they reach, well, let's say 16, 17 especially, they start peaking with their beauty, right? And I would say maybe they peak at 21, 22 or so, and then it goes steadily down. Some women, they can really reach their peak a bit later, depending on when they hit puberty, 25, 26, I've seen as well that they reach their peak beauty. Anyways, the point of the story is that they are given something. It's just given to them. Again, you don't believe in God, so therefore to make it more digestible for you, they're given value simply through nature. Right? Nature, biology determines how they will look like, and that is their value, to attract a mate. Right? Let's stay with this Darwinistic worldview. The man, on the other hand, has to have a certain status, because women are attracted to status. That is the fact. This is why you see so many rich guys with absolutely beautiful women. And then people are like, oh, just because of the money. Yeah, but the money comes with something, of course. It comes with status, and to achieve a certain amount of money, it takes skill as well. Of course, you have some people that just inherited a lot of money, etc., you name it. It's like a cheat code. But usually, people that made a lot of millions, they have a story to tell, right? They became those guys. So therefore, it's not only about the money. It's about the person that creates that wealth, that can generate that lifestyle. So therefore, again, women are attracted to status. And that is something that has to be worked for. So the man has to work for it. The men at 19, 20, in most instances, doesn't have much to show for. As I said with your sons, for example, they might have not enough money now to properly provide there in the West, even though it's really not that problematic to provide for a kid. Anyways, that being said, a man can reach his peak with 35, with 40 sometimes even. They can reach their peak. Of course, not only the biological peak, because I would say the physical, athletic peak with a man is around 28 to 30, but then it tapers off a little bit. However, you as a whole, with your finances in check, etc., the person that you build, you create more value if you're working on yourself, the older you get. The woman, on the other hand, is given value by, in your instance again, nature. That's it. She is essentially the equivalent to a male millionaire when she's 19, 20. To take a Western example yet again, we find ourselves in a nightclub. In that nightclub, you see a 20-year-old girl. 10 out of 10. Super beautiful. Perfection. Everybody in that club is attracted to her. Every male. Right? Maybe some girls too. Everybody wants her. She has the highest social value in that scenario. It is the case. No matter what man you are there, to get that woman, she is the prize in that environment solely based upon her beauty. She might work at McDonald's. She might have no job whatsoever. She goes to school. right? You might be a millionaire. In that scenario, it does not matter. The value is given to her, again, in your case here, by nature, I would say by God. That's her nature, that's her capital, that's her beauty, that's her value. That's what it is. And if you understand those dynamics and you experience those dynamics, you will understand that women that have that millionaire status through their beauty, they have a totally different mindset. And then they slowly start going broke. They lose their beauty. It's just natural. And when they hit 30, a lot of that beauty is gone. It's like money being spent. That's just what it is. And then at 35, it's surely gone. They can be a pretty lady, but they're not that hot girl anymore. And then they change their whole attitude. And then they really see what is going on. And then they see where they went wrong. And I've been through that, and I talked to many, many women, and I know exactly why that is detrimental to them. And therefore, yet again, Abdullah, not. I want the best for those women, and that's why I say this. I would really wish for more women, if not all women, but of course that is impossible in this day and age, to get married as virgins. It would be good for them. That's why I speak about this, and that's why I subscribe to Islam, of course, because Islam teaches this. This is the only way to true happiness. That's what it is. Your way is pathetic. It's the mindset of a loser. You believe that you're protecting women. Bobby's the misogynist. Misogynist, Bobby. In reality, you're a weak, pathetic man that cannot defend women. You can't. And therefore, you are leading them astray. You cannot tell them what is right and wrong. You say you have 5 children. Did you feed them chocolate every single day? Did you feed them candies every single day? Did you say no sometimes? Ever? I hope you did. I'm sure you did. Why did you do that? Because you hate children? Huh? Is that it? Is there a word for it? Pedagogist? Yeah, you hate children. That's why you did that. You didn't give them the ice cream. They started crying. Such an evil man. Of course not, because you want good for them, right? So therefore, sometimes certain things that are evil for them, you have to control it. That's the same with women, of course. And therefore, I repeat yet again. You think, it's so funny, they always have this double standard, you know? Oh, don't shame them. But now he's shaming me, right? Oh, look at Bobby. He's misogynist. Look at him. Look what he's saying. Right, why are you shaming me now? Stop shaming me. You are taking her stance. Oh, she can do what she wants. But you don't see that she is going into her own ruin, right? And therefore, it takes an authoritative, essentially patriarchal structure that will lead those women back to what is right. That's just what it is. It was always like that. When men were in charge and they were real men, society was flourishing and women were happy. A woman that is led by masculine men can truly experience her feminine side, and it makes her happy. It makes her fulfilled. She wants to submit to a strong man and not to a pathetic loser like yourself and 99% of society.
Is she just stupid because she's young? Is because she's a woman? She's a young woman? Like,
again, is she just stupid? Is it? I described it for you, right? I hope you watched this video so you might learn something, but it's too late for you anyways. It's too late. It's done. I have no hope in you. It's not because she's just stupid. I know you want to throw around that term, everybody is stupid, doesn't get it. It's not about it. It is simply because of her status in society right now. And I'm not saying that she's outrageously pretty. I would give her a, whatever, I don't know, 6.5, 6. But it's enough. It's enough to get enough attention of degenerates in the West. It's enough. She will be able to hook up. She will be able to get a boyfriend. She will be able to get enough attention like that due to her value, which is her appearance right now. And this is her worldview. The same way that money can corrupt somebody. You don't have to be super smart for that, right? You don't have to be super stupid for that either. It can happen. It can happen. It can corrupt your heart. A lot of money. And then you will show your true colors because you cannot handle that power. And the same can happen with a certain appearance. People are nicer to you. Oh, looks good. Nice. I want to date you. Whatever, getting compliments. And like that, she will run from boyfriend to boyfriend, drink alcohol, eat pork and whatnot, and then in the end be very, very unhappy, very unsatisfied. This happens over and over again. This is why we have divorce rates over 50%.
what is that, right? And then he's saying define wrong.
That is that. Yes.
Define wrong. Of course she can define wrong. She just told you what she considers wrong. Beating women. She gave an example.
Ah, you dumb, pathetic loser, man. Again, she just told you beating women is wrong. That's not what we're talking about here. You're an atheist. You're a Darwinist. You do not believe in absolutes. Do you? Is that absolutely right, what you just said? Is it? So if it is absolutely right, then there must be absolutes. But you do not believe in absolutes. Absolutely right and wrong. Those are terms that you cannot find within the atheist worldview. You do not have it. Within the atheist worldview, everything is random. So your brain is arranged randomly, right? That's why you are religious, right? Because it is just random evolution. But in your instance, you're not religious anymore, right? Why is that? Somehow you bypassed that evolutionary mechanism. Whatever. Everything is just random. Everything just popped into existence out of a big bang. It's just expanding into nothingness. Whatever, right? And now, there is no right and wrong. Everything is subjective. That is the atheistic worldview. This is why I say define wrong. I understand that she finds those passages in the Quran wrong. I find them right. That is subjective. That doesn't matter. The question is there objective right and wrong? We, of course, make the claim that there is objective right and wrong. We believe that the revelation from Allah is right. We believe that Allah is the ultimate truth. We believe that we should obey the ultimate truth. You understand? This is what we obey. This is what we believe. We do believe in absolute standards. You do not. And therefore, you fall into every fallacy, just to reverse this again, because you appeal to majority. Whatever your society dictates is right, is then right. But is it truly right? And you don't have to become too philosophical about this. The question is simply, is it really true? You're an atheist. By default, you have to be a subjective moralist. You have to be. So therefore, we're sitting here now, and you're telling me about your opinion, man. That's it. And in your opinion, in your worldview, I'm just sharing my opinion. But nobody is more right or wrong because there are no absolute standards in your worldview. So therefore, why are we even talking? Why are you even making this video? You saw my video, you disagree with everything. Okay, on your personal opinion basis. But are you really right, therefore? In your worldview, there is no right and wrong. Do you understand the dilemma? So therefore, it is circular reasoning because you will always come back to yourself. Oh, well, I don't think so. Well, I see it that way. Yeah, well, according to that person, it makes more sense. What is sense? What is common sense? Where does that come from? Again, you're acting so pathetically idiotic. This woman, yes, I understand that for her, the Quran is wrong. Because on her own personal feelings, that's what she bases it upon. Many women will take a certain position. They will say, oh, well, I find it wrong that we shouldn't have sex with many men. That's how feminism sprung into existence, the sexual revolution. Because they said, oh, it should be normal for us to have sex. Why should we be ashamed? Right? Is that now right or wrong? According to who? According to your opinion? According to majority? Again, let's go back to Germany. According to majority, it was right to do to the Jews what they did. Was it objectively true? Was it objectively right now? Is it just that society? What if that society, those Germans, would have spread across the globe? Everybody would speak German now. And everybody would have the same mindset. Is it therefore the right mindset? Is it true or not? Certain things happen within society and they change. The standards are changing all the time. Is it therefore right or not? You don't understand it. It's unbelievable. They're just in their subjective bubble and, yeah, but she told you what she finds wrong. I have to defend her. Stop white knighting, you cuck. What is this?
As well.
Pathetic loser,
it's
man.
It's clear that she actually does have a definition of wrong, even though you don't think she does. She does. It's based on like harm and benefit. It's based on do unto others as you would want done unto yourself. Right?
Okay, so yet again. Okay. Unbelievable. It is based upon do unto others as you want do unto yourself. Okay, the golden rule. Is the golden rule absolutely true? Is it? Is it absolutely true? If you say yes now, then you are an absolutist. Then you believe in objective morals. Then you do not believe that the universe is relative. You actually believe in order. That's what you believe in then. If you tell me, no, it's not absolutely correct, It just what has more benefit, I guess. Why would I care for more benefit then? Don't you understand? Who cares for the more benefit of it? For human flourishing. Who cares? Humans live, they evolved monkeys. Our brains are just random. Our thoughts are just random. Nothing that we say is coherent at all. Right? Not me, not you. It doesn't matter. You're way smarter than me. But it doesn't matter. All our thoughts are just random. And then we die. And that's it. Then the lights go off. That's it. It doesn't matter that you had 5 kids, or 10, or 0, had a wife, or a girlfriend that dated Mark. It doesn't matter. Right? It doesn't matter that we had this talk here either. Who cares? Right? Who cares that you found what I said wrong, and I found what you said wrong? Who cares? Doesn't matter, man. We're all gonna die, and we're not gonna remember a thing, because we're just flesh monkeys. And this flesh will decay, and that's it. The lights are out. So there is no truth at all in anything that we do. And therefore a perceived benefit in this society, I should base my opinion upon that now, that there is a certain benefit. Why would I? I might as well become a serial killer. Who cares? It doesn't matter, because there is no right and wrong anyways. There is no consequence. What even motivated you to put on clothes today and put on that green screen there with a semi-okay flat? That is, I already have to assume, way, way prettier than your real flat. Otherwise, you wouldn't put on a green screen. Wow. Right? For what? Just sit there naked. Who cares? Why did you even trim your beard? Just let it grow, or shave everything off, or paint your face. Do something crazy right now. Start screaming. Jump up and down. Who cares? Nothing is coherent. Everything is random. There is no God. Yay! Right? And then the lights will go off. Who cares? Who cares even if you suicide yourself right now? Because guess what? Even if you would have, from now on, the best life ever, you wouldn't remember. So if you off yourself right now, then you wouldn't remember either. Don't you see? It doesn't matter either way. Nothing matters. And that's the whole point. Your whole worldview is incongruent. It does not matter that you speak about the golden rule. The golden rule is non-existent. It's a human concept. Who cares for that human concept? Let's just bombard the whole planet. Nihilism. Let it reign supreme. Who cares? But he doesn't understand that. That's why. But she tells you what she thinks is right and wrong. Listen to the lady. Listen to the young lady. What are you saying? She's stupid or something? She's just 20. Oh, such a white knight. What are you doing that for even? Why do you show compassion? For what? Just an evolutionary process. Doesn't matter.
Right? Like, would you want so-and-so, your mother, your sister to be beaten? No. So then don't do that either. That's wrong. That's a simple definition that we can all agree upon. You don't have to overcomplicate.
Oh, we all have to... Bobby, you know, he's not the smartest. Let's not overcomplicate things, okay? Let's just stick here. Man, you're so deep in your thinking. It's absolutely amazing. So you don't want your mother to be beaten up, and therefore it's wrong. Let's just agree on that, okay, dude? No, for me it's right. For me it's absolutely right to beat your mother up. I have all the reasons in the world, in my mind, subjectively, why I should beat your mother up. Absolutely. Let's just assume that now. Right? Could be. There could be a psychopath that you would define as a psychopath, and that's his perspective. He just wants to beat you up, your mother up, everybody up. And in his worldview, there's nothing wrong with it. He doesn't have any compassion for you. Why would he? Evolutionary, more reptilian, I guess. Evolved a bit differently. Doesn't care for you. Doesn't care for your feelings. So what? Is he wrong? Is he wrong now? Why is he wrong now? Just because you don't like it? That's so ridiculous. That is the vegan argument. That is the vegan argument, you absolute soy boys, man. The vegans would always say, well, can we just agree? We don't like pain. We are animals. We don't like pain. And animals don't like pain either. They try to avoid pain indeed. Don't you see? They try to run away from pain. Don't you see it? So therefore, equals bad. There is no God. We believe in evolution. Everybody eats each other. But now, actually looking at the situation, we realize, you know what? We don't like pain. And pain equals evil, automatically. We never like pain, right? That's why people actually go and train MMA and are involved in all kinds of pain and suffering, but let's just discard that. Doesn't matter. So we don't like pain. We don't like pain. We like to sit on our couch. Yet again, we like to eat on our couch. That's so nice. Watch Netflix. And the animal certainly doesn't want to die, even though it's going to die anyways at some point. No, it doesn't matter. We are not here to play God, but we don't believe in God. We don't want to end its life. So human rights have to be extended to animal rights. That's it. Compassion is the way. Don't you understand? It's the same argument. Pain and suffering is evil. Don't do what you don't want anybody else to do to you. So therefore, don't do it to the cow either. Don't do it to the chicken. Boo-hoo. That is the vegan argument. I do not care for it whatsoever. I want to eat meat because my species-specific diet, because it is proper nutrition, because this is what we are meant to do. And even evolutionary, you could take the perspective on that if you wanted to. But by the golden rule, you couldn't. Right? And therefore, done deal. That's the argument. Sealed. It's sealed now. We're going to base it on pain. Is that it? Is that it now? With that argument, nothing would ever progress anywhere. If pain and suffering is bad, then the alternative is that pleasure is always right. Don't you understand this? Then pleasure is always right. Okay, we come back to the example that I gave in that video. Then nothing stops me from simply indulging in food, fornication, watching stupid movies forever. Don't you get this? You don't get it because I can see it by your complexion. Your testosterone levels are maybe on 300 to 400 nanograms. At best, your body fat is at 21%. Your muscle mass is not there. That's what it is. You're not a disciplined man. That's it. You're not disciplined. You don't have the courage to stand up for yourself, let alone for women, and tell them what is right. You don't really care for women. You're a white knight. You want to be liked. That's it. It's pathetic. Unbelievable, man. That's the whole point, don't you understand? If we just go by pain is bad, pleasure is good, we end up exactly where we are, because this is what we've been doing. Fat models. Fat models, yes. Hey, don't go to the gym. Don't sweat. Don't run. Don't diet. All of that hurts. Boo-hoo. Right? Keep on doing what you're doing. Let's take pictures of you. You look beautiful. You go, queen. I absolutely love what you're doing. Yes, slay, queen. And then they die. Huh. Fatfluencer died in their 30s. Fantastic. Right? Amazing job. So you are simply enabling weak, pathetic behavior. But I wouldn't expect anything less because you are a kafir. That's it.
Think about. She said she's agnostic, she's an atheist, what have you. She doesn't adhere to a religion, but she's going to tell you what is right and wrong. Based upon what? That is the true question here, and no atheist, agnostic can reflect upon that. Because she's just a girl, I know that. I'm not really talking to her, I'm talking to my audience over here. If we take her point.
That's the third time now. He's just dehumanizing her and acting like she has no intelligence.
Are you an idiot? Yeah, you are. I already said that a billion times. I simply said she is a girl. That's what she is. She's a girl. So you're dehumanizing her by calling her a girl. That is what she is, per definition. Stop acting outraged. What is this? Oh, he's just a man. Oh, how could you? You dehumanized me. Yeah, she's just a girl, you idiot. What else?
No point. And why are you even doing the response? Like, for your audience, not for her. Like, come on. Like, this is pathetic, right?
How is this pathetic? I have an audience of, what is it? Something over 300,000 subscribers. I'm making content for them. I don't know if she's a subscriber of mine. If she is, then I make it for her as well. I am giving my perspective on the subject matter for my audience. What are you doing right now? Are you making the video for me? Are you making the video for the girl? Are you making it for your audience? Maybe? Could that be? Oh, dehumanizing.
This is the third time he's treating her as less than a human.
3 strikes out.
And she really would firmly...
I'm treating her less than a human. Again, how? By saying that she is a girl, which she is. She's a girl. She's a girl. She's a girl. She's a girl.
stand in her
She's a
agnostic
girl.
view, she would have to admit
Just
that she's
wanna
standing for
have
nothing.
fun.
An agnostic says, I do not know. So if your fundament of your moral worldview is, I do not know, then you obviously cannot tell me what is right and wrong.
I'm pretty sure that she's agnostic about believing in God, not about her ethical or moral values. As usual, he's mixing things up. He's putting morality and belief in God, and he's just jumbling it all together.
No, you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. You don't understand basic philosophy at all. You really have no clue what you're talking about. Generally, I'm not jumbling things up. Morality and God, this is implicit. Why? Very simple. If she is agnostic on the belief of God, or atheistic even, she doesn't know if there is a God, then the implication of that becomes, where do morals come from? Do you understand? And if she says, I don't believe there is a God, I don't know if there is a God, then she cannot say, I know that morals are intrinsic within this universe. I know that they're objective. They're here, they're in the fabric of the universe. No, she will say, oh well, I guess that's what we humans make up, whatever is better for us. That's exactly what you do, right? And therefore, she cannot make the claim, the absolute claim, of what is right and wrong. Do you understand this? This is basic philosophy. She has no origin for her morality. She can simply claim, yes, society dictates this, and I personally, subjectively, find it good or don't find it good. Like this, you cannot ever make an absolute statement, and you cannot ever tell anyone that your subjective worldview is better than the other one's subjective worldview. You don't get it.
I'm pretty sure she's not agnostic about morality. She's not a moral nihilist or whatever, relativist. She's likely...
Wait. So she's not a nihilist, she's not a moral relativist, and you're not a moral relativist either. So what are you then? You're a moral objectivist? You believe that morals are objective? If that is the case, and you don't believe in God, let's exclude this in your worldview somehow, you're going to say still that the universe is random, but there are absolute morals within that universe? Of course not. It's impossible. It's a contradiction. If the universe is random, everything evolves randomly. There are no objective rights and wrongs.
Going by what she instinctively feels is right and wrong. We all have that. It's been evolved into us, right?
Okay, we would say that's the fitra, of course. Why would it be evolved into us? If we have the selfish gene, if we are the greatest predator on this planet, if it is survival of the fittest, why would that right and wrong be evolved into us? When it comes down to absolute base survival, you're somewhere stranded on an island, you would start eating humans, right? So how are you telling me now that this somehow evolved into us? That's not true at all. So there is this animalistic instinct in you as well, but you're not acting upon that, you're acting on the good side. So what is that good side? What is that moral worldview? And why should we obey? Let's just assume, let's say it's just an evolved byproduct that we like to be nice. Why should we go by those evolved, predetermined understandings of ourselves? Because you went against being religious. Being religious, according to you, is something that we evolved to do. So now, instinctively, we tend to know what is right and wrong, more or less, right? And that we should obey. But being religious, we should definitely not obey, because we just evolved to be religious. You're contradicting yourself. It's absolutely pathetic. If we truly evolved to be religious, and you can go against it apparently in your society, okay, then I evolved to be nice, but I don't want to be nice. I'm going against it as well. Just as you're an atheist, now I'm going to be antisocial. And I'm going to go out and start killing people. It's absolutely all right, because it's just a byproduct of evolution. But now you're claiming because we evolved to be nice, we should be. How? There's a double standard. Then I say, stay firm on that ground, And you should be religious, of course, because you evolved to do so. Look how pathetic it is. Your argument makes no sense, man. So therefore, no, I don't care for it. I'm going to take your position now. We evolved. You can choose not to be religious, to go against your own evolution, apparently, playing God. And she says, oh, that is right, that is wrong. And you say, oh, well, instinctively she knows. Okay, why would I care now? I'm going to go against it. It's wrong, subjectively. Don't you see what you're doing here, man? That's so ridiculous. Wow, man.
That's what she's considering right and wrong. And she's agnostic about something else, which is belief in God. Don't mix up the two things.
Yes, but you do have to mix up those things because it is implicit. You need a creator. You need a necessary being in order to have the implication of objective morality. You absolute loser. You don't understand it. You don't get it.
You can be someone that believes in God and still is a moral relativist or whatever, or you can...
No, you cannot be by default, because if you believe in God, you understand that God created everything and therefore there is an order. There is a natural order. There is physics. There is mathematics. We didn't come up with mathematics. As you can see, it's not so random after all, but it's something that we discovered rather, right? So there is gravity apparently. If you jump off a high building, you're probably going to die. There are rules, right? And therefore there are moral rules as well. And you see that, of course, but you're going against it. Oh, we know right and wrong. And yeah, you know to an extent, right? So there is something apparently. You pick up a thing or two. Those are the laws of God. They are implicit in His creation. And therefore, if you believe in God, you believe in objective rights and wrongs, objective morals.
You could not believe in God, and you can have, objective moral values. It all depends on, those are two different things.
No, but you can't. That's exactly the thing. It's not two different things, and you know it. Just saying that, you know that you sound idiotic. Because if you don't have a creator, you simply have something popping out of nothing, then there is no moral implication to anything that you do. Don't you get it? There is no moral implication at all. Zero. And this is why then you cannot have an absolutist stance. You right now made an absolutist stance, so therefore I would really like to hear it from you if you see this video, make a response. How can you justify having objective morals without a creator? What are those objective morals? Where do they come from? And if you then tell me, yeah, well, what we decided as a society because like instinct, that is not objective, that is subjective, because societies decide different things. Again, in Nazi Germany, they decided certain things. Israel decides certain things. Palestine decides certain things. Who is right, who is wrong? Right? That is subjective. That is an appeal to majority.
An atheist will tell you, I believe this is wrong. Based upon what? You don't believe in God. You do not.
Based on secular humanism. This tired old meme of atheists have no values. It's just exhausting. It's just tiring. It's like, how many times have we heard this? We obviously have values. Even monkeys have values, right? They have these instincts about...
Man. And he says, it's starting to hear this. Unbelievable. You're just talking for the sake of talking right now. It is crystal clear that everybody has certain values. We understand that you do. You already said you don't want your mother to be punched, etc., etc. We get that. Philosophically, however, you have no origin for those values. Because again, in your worldview, everything turns to dust. There is absolutely no afterlife. You have no soul. You're a biological machine. You're going to die. The lights go off. There is no consequence to anything that you do. And therefore, just because you have a better outcome in the moment, a moment that is not real, random, and will never be memorized by anyone, you have no objective origin for anything. That's the claim. And that's where you see pathetic losers as well, like a Sam Harris, just crying about it. But we atheists, we have morals as well. Indeed, we are the most moral people. Who cares? There is no objective morality in your worldview. Morals are not even real. Why do you try to be moral? I would try to be the exact opposite if I was an atheist.
Right and wrong, about being cheated, right? About being treated fairly, about taking care of the children. All of these things we do, right? And then obviously there's some things that...
Yes, exactly. You're just making my point here. I know that you do. The question is, why do you do it?
Evolved into a
Why?
system not good, which we fight against and we work against them and we build a society to protect, like, for example, the weak and the disabled and whatever.
Why?
But
Why is it better? Why is it better to protect the disabled? Why?
none of this has anything to do with...
Evolutionary speaking, especially if you're a Darwinist, it's not better, right? Survival of the fittest, after all. So evolutionary speaking, there is absolutely no reason for this whatsoever. It would be much better to go by eugenics, essentially, like Adolf did, right, back in the day, and just get rid of those subhumans, right? That could be your perspective as well. That was based upon Darwinism. Get rid of those subpar humans and just keep the genetic elite. That is better. How can you say that it's wrong to do that? Evolutionary speaking, that is better. No, survival of the fittest, the best organism. He did right, after all.
atheism.
Believe in universal truths, in moral guidelines, in rights and wrongs. You believe in relativism. So if everything is relative, your opinion is relative. But the agnostic is even worse, because the agnostic says, I'm not taking a position, I'm a fan-sitter over here, and I do not know, could be. So if you tell me it could be, then I tell you how it will be. There is right and there is wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. That's what you're claiming. Just because you believe there's an absolute right and wrong doesn't...
No, that's exactly what it is. When you are having a discussion, as I said multiple times now, you want to convince the other party of your position. But your position is subjective. It might be better in your worldview, and guess what? You might convince certain people that think alike. But that doesn't tell us if it's true or not. Yet again, I always come up with the same example for the 1000th time. Just because AH back in the day in Germany convinced multiple people to do a certain thing, is it therefore right? Don't you understand? The whole questioning here, the whole search is a search for meaning. If you don't have absolutes, you have relativism, which are devoid of meaning. Then you don't have any meaning whatsoever. And that's your worldview. There is no meaning, there is no right and wrong. Let's just do what feels right. Those people are described in the Quran as people that follow their desires. That's who you are. Kafir.
Doesn't make it so. It doesn't mean anyone else will even agree with you or even accept your value. And even among Islamic beliefs, there are differences between the time of Muhammad and now. For example, taking temporary wives, muta, that was considered halal. And then according to Sunnis, it's now considered forbidden. But according to Shias, it's still allowed.
Actually, it's not now considered forbidden. It was already considered forbidden during the time of Abu Bakr, so pretty much instantaneously. And there are multiple hadiths to see as well. The Prophet Muhammad forbade it in the end. And those are reminiscent things that were in pre-Islamic Arabia. So, for example, the same applies to alcohol. Alcohol was not outlawed right away, but later then it was outlawed completely. So those people were weaned off their lifestyle of Jahiliyyah, ultimately. So I don't understand the argument here whatsoever.
Loud. That's an example. He's even going to bring up another example, which is he's going to say later on.
It was a pretty bad example. What's the point?
That slavery is forbidden today. With no evidence, he's going to say this. According to his own objective moral values, slavery was okay. Now it's not okay.
No, it's not my moral subjective values whatsoever. It is because the Quran said it is better to free a slave. Right? That's it. So therefore we see that it's superior to free a slave. But it doesn't mean that slavery has to be outlawed completely. And depending on if there is a caliphate or not, slavery might be permissible as well. We, of course, go after the scholars as well and what is decided strategically in a certain situation. So, again, we go by Quran and Sunnah. I personally don't have any issues whatsoever by obeying those laws. Because I personally go by an objective standard and not my own. And it's not because I think slavery is bad. Honestly, I personally think that modern day slavery is way, way worse than anything that was happening way back. What is happening right now, modern day slavery, and aside of it, real human trafficking that is happening all around the globe, is way worse than anything that ever happened previously. I believe that many slaves back in the day had actually really, really good lives. That's it. But that is just my subjective. Again, Islamically speaking, during the time of the Prophet, there were still slaves. During the time of Jesus, Jesus even said that the slave is better than the rich man. So I cannot see as a religious person, no matter if Christian or Muslim, that there is something intrinsically wrong with slavery. You, on the other hand, hold that position apparently. Based on what? I don't know. Based on your subjective feelings.
So obviously the situation has changed, the values have changed, the laws have changed.
The situation right now has changed because we don't have a caliphate. That's it.
So what are you...
It's strategic. There are certain ways of life that will apply in certain situations. So, for example, something radical. If you're on a lonely island as a Muslim and you're dying of starvation and there's only a pig, you can eat the pig. But we all know that it is not permissible within Islam. But if you have to save your life, you can eat that pig. Do you understand? So it's not about, oh, we evolved now everything's better, that's why slavery, nah. No, slavery was permissible and is permissible under certain circumstances. That's it.
Saying, dude, moral relativism just means that something that's okay, like for example, someone might say, oh, it's okay to beat your wife in these countries because that's the culture. That's moral relativism. Like, that's not what all atheists believe.
No, that's... Okay, done. Yeah, you won, after all. Yeah, I have to absolutely concede here. That's it. Moral relativism is, implicit in the wording, you hear it already, that morals are relative, which means that morals are subjective, which means you have your opinion, dude, and I have my opinion, and therefore there is no right and wrong, and whatever feels better, I guess we can decide to do. That is moral relativism. Moral relativism leads to fornication, for example. Why? Because it's just two consenting adults, right? They know what they're doing. In the West, I mean, actually when you're 14 in Germany, you can already decide to have sex, so they consented, that's fine. Let them kids have sex. They can't drive the car. They can't vote, they can't get married either, but they can have sex. Let them decide. They have fun, right? So moral relativism is simply your subjective opinion against another subjective opinion, but you both agree that there is no objective opinion anyways. So let's just figure out what feels good here. That's it. That is moral relativism. Not, because the country says so, that's a culture. That's again appeal to majority, and you keep on doing this over and over again and you don't get it. It's insane.
Right? I don't believe that, right? I believe in secular humanism and right and wrong, and Wait. You don't believe in right and wrong. You believe in secular humanism, which means what you believe in is whatever is better for humans, whatever you perceive as better. That is, again, subjective. Just because in your worldview it might be better not to be religious, doesn't mean that therefore it is better, right? Indeed, in secular humanism, you even have the option, right? You can be religious, you can not be religious, it just doesn't really matter. So again, in your worldview, there is no right and wrong, there's just do what you want to do and just don't hurt anybody. That's what we're going to do here. There is no right and wrong at all. And based on human thriving, I would decide, or I would
exactly.
determine
human
this
flourishing.
Is bad, right? It's all about consequences. What consequences does it lead to? If it leads to good consequences for humanity and for conscious beings in general, then it's a good thing. Otherwise, it's a bad thing. And it's not always clear what's good and what's bad, but we do the best we can. We definitely go by, we don't go
super just childish perspective. Okay, we actually do not know what is good and bad. We actually do not know what is right and wrong, and we just do whatever we think feels good at the moment, and then we're going to see whatever the consequence might be. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yet again, divorce rates have never been so high as they are right now. Speed-eyed rates have never been so high as they are now. Depression has never been so high as it is right now. Antidepressants, prescription medication has never been so high as it is right now. You see the society is further and further degenerating because they're doing certain things. Might be pretty wrong, right? Wrong things that they're doing. Could that be? Or why are they further degenerating? Yeah, well, we don't really know, man. I believe in right and wrong, but there is no right and wrong. Are you even hearing yourself, man? You simply believe in human flourishing, but you do not know what human flourishing is. You assume that human flourishing is whatever feels good. But then you don't get the real outcomes. You don't even understand the consequence. You admit it yourself. And this is why I like to keep it very basic myself here, because I'm simple, Bobby. As I gave you the example with the kid. The kid doesn't understand implication nor consequence. The kid simply wants to eat chocolate right now. But if you feed it chocolate right now, and every day, and every time it wants it, it will get obese, maybe get diabetes, get a heart attack, be a pathetic, disgusting loser, die at 30. Fantastic. What have you done now? Have you guided the person, the kid, to the right way? No, you haven't. Why? Because you went by human flourishing, I guess, or everything that feels good. That's what you are. You are a man-child, ultimately. Just going by your own whims and desires. Whatever feels right, I'm going to pursue now. And then we're going to see the consequence. Right? What was her name again? Melanie or whatever. She goes out and has sex with Mark. Well, feels good right now. I'm not too sure if he's going to be my husband. Let's try another one. John. New. Nice. Feels good right now. I like John. Oh, not so much after all. Let's have a one-night stand. Let's put on hot pants in the club. Doo-doo-doo. Feels good right now. Ooh, so much attention. Nice, nice. Don't like it anymore. Let's try somebody else. What? Is that good now? Is that human flourishing? What is human flourishing? You cannot even tell me. Whatever feels good at the moment, is that human flourishing? You don't know because you do not know the consequences, as you said already. And this is why we submit to divine guidance, revelation, which you do not have. Our objective standard is Allah and the morals that come from Allah, that come from Al-Haq, the ultimate truth. That's what we believe. You don't believe that. You make up your own laws as you go. Our laws have not changed for 1,400 years. You might think they did. Again, but slavery has been outlawed again, depending on the situation. Same with pork. If there was a caliphate and slavery was needed, it would be still permissible. It's not outlawed, outruled. No, because we do not believe it's intrinsically wrong. We don't. What you going to do about it now? Oh, see, Islamist.
That even
Islamist.
From their own religious scholars, the laws are changing.
No, they're not changing again.
What's the point of that? It's so useless.
Yeah, again, because they have it. Ex-Muslim. You don't understand. The laws are not changing. There's certain situation where certain things are being practiced and certain things are not, depending on the situation. That's it. So right now, there is no major war, unfortunately, that is being supported by the Islamic forces. There could be, potentially. YouTube. You understand? There's certain rules that are permissible within war scenarios as well. They're just rules for life. That is what Islam is. You believe the rules are changing. They're never changing. They're just applicable in certain situations. That's it.
Your opinion is wrong.
The real Sunnah, and if you open the Quran, the real Quran, yeah, you're gonna see all of this written there. It's like it's Islam. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say what I believe in. The people who apply Islam, like the real Islam, it's ISIS. These people, these crazy people.
Yeah, sure, it's ISIS, even though the majority of Muslims condemn them, but yeah, it's ISIS after all.
She totally debunked Islam now. So ISIS, that is predominantly killing Muslims, those are the real Muslims. This is real Islam. Listen to me, I'm going to tell you what I believe now.
So, obviously, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I don't agree with that take either. And that's okay, she's allowed to have that take. But at the same time, Bobby didn't say much, but if he's going to say ISIS are not Muslim at all because they kill Muslims, well, a lot of Muslims kill Muslims. Even the Sahabas killed Muslims, right? Like they had the wars where they fought each other, right? So after Muhammad died, I mean. So like if you look and
exactly,
see,
that's the point.
There are clearly issues with ISIS. According to other Muslims, they're like extreme or whatever. But you can't say they're not Muslim either. They are Muslim. I don't think they're the true Muslims. There's no such thing as true Muslims or true Islam.
There is no such thing as true Muslims or true Islam, even though we had the Prophet ﷺ, Prophet Muhammad, that taught us Islam, the Quran that has been revealed, and in the end it says your religion has been perfected today. But no, there is no real Islam, no real Muslims. So what are you really against? If there is no real such thing, why are you an ex-Muslim then? There is no such real thing. Amazing.
You know, every single interpretation is subjective, and
of course there is, as anything else in your life is subjective, and hence we do not really need to talk any further because everything is subjective. That is here, that's really the face. If I would have made a reaction video to this, I should have used this as a thumbnail. It's subjective, bro. We don't know. Oh, well, it's just like your opinion, dude. But your opinion is wrong, but there is no right and wrong. Man, you're spinning your wheels. Absolutely pathetic. Anyways, guys, I'm going to cut it off here. It was enough with those reactions. You see it. It doesn't lead anywhere but into absurdity because you have no objective right and wrong. But you want to make absolute statements of what is right and wrong. Islam is wrong. Islam is relative. Islam is not existent. There is no real Muslim. Is that the truth? There is no real right and wrong. In my worldview, there is right and wrong based on human flourishing. The whole presentation was an appeal to utility. Whatever is better for humans. But is it really though? That is the question. If you look into science, certain medications that were given to people were based upon utility. Human flourishing, helping people out. And they led to birth defects. Contagan, for example, was a medication in the 80s. And I saw the absolute devastating effects of that in my school back then, because we had many children that were actually missing limbs, missing arms. There were those deformed little hands with those little fingers. And that was due to medication that was apparently helping with pregnancy sickness or whatnot, and it deformed the babies. But the intention behind it was human flourishing, right? Helping those mothers out. But it turned sideways because, as he said, we do not know the consequences. So you do not know the consequences. You just assume that it's better to do whatever feels good. And that's exactly the point. That's how you justify homosexuality. Or feels good. You know what else feels good? Unprotected sex. Oh, yeah, well, now all of a sudden, whoopsie, all kinds of STDs. Yeah, we didn't know that. We didn't know the consequence, but it felt really good in the moment. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it felt fantastic. Do you see how childish this perspective is? That's what I'm saying. Atheists are just man-children. They cannot submit their will to a higher power. They do not want to obey a higher rule, and therefore they simply come up with their own man-made rules, which just, in turn, promote their own desires. Well, that feels nice. Let's just keep on going with that. You made no argument whatsoever. You got outraged that I essentially called a girl a girl. Yeah, that is really, really terrible. Maybe if I would have called a transgender a man, you would have, I don't know, jumped out of the window out of frustration. That would be way too much, right? I called her a girl. It's true, I'm going to call her a girl again. She's in her 20s. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's absolutely misled. She has no proper father figure. It's obvious. She has no husband in her life. Sad. And then you have those other misguided evangelicals there telling her how pretty, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, yeah, well, listen to us now. It's bunk from A to Z. And you, on the other hand, made no argument yet again, because in your worldview, nothing is right, nothing is wrong. But listen to my video now. Why would we? You're a pathetic loser. You're a kafir. You're murtad. Nobody wants to listen to you. All the best. All right, guys. Anyways, enough of this. Now I'm going to jump into the chat again. This guy was definitely something else. Sad existence, really, man. But it really shows you yet again why such people become ex-Muslim, of course, because they cannot wait to spread their liberal, feminist, Darwinistic delusion ultimately. That's what they live for. That's really what it is. They don't understand it. But they're so misguided, so misled, that they cannot see it. They really cannot see it. It's the hearts that are blind, right? It's amazing. Circular argument after circular argument. And again, it justifies veganism. That's really what you have to understand. Because if you base it upon feelings, oh, nobody wants to see that animal die. Don't you see instinctively? That's what the vegan said as well. Instinctively we see you don't want to slice the lamb's throat. Why would you do that? It's bad. But it's not bad. It's not evil. How do we come up with it? Based upon what? Based upon subjective morals? Unbelievable. Anyways, enough of that. Really, I'm just spinning my wheels here with that guy. Let's get to the dashboard. Thank you very much, everybody, for supporting. I truly appreciate it. Zoom party, Umar. Sounds good, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you. Allah bless you. May Allah help the Muslims this year, 2024. Inshallah. Thank you very much, bro. Again, as I said, I was supremely busy. I couldn't answer anybody. I'm getting back to it now, slowly but surely. JM donated 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much, bro. Says, Salam, Bobby. I'm happy to say that you helped strengthen my belief. Keep up your great work. As per this BLT guy. Why BLT? I don't get it. BLT guy, I think Islam was too high T for him. He needed something to match his low T levels. Yeah, again, this guy, I came off a bit harsh. I understand that. But after a while, you just lose patience. So patience is a virtue, and maybe I should work on that. But it is so frustrating to hear the same damn things over and over again, and to simply see that they're spreading falsehood, and they're swallowing up people that don't understand basic philosophy. He's going to tell you why his morals are somehow superior to the Quran without telling you that he actually doesn't have objective morals. He just tells you that, it's common sense. What is common sense? It is like Sam Harris, man. Sam Harris, famous atheist. What did he say in one of his famous speeches? He said, yeah, well, I don't have to tell you that it's wrong to poison a village in Africa. Why? Why don't you have to tell me that? You do have to tell me that. You're sitting there, standing there on a podium, making that claim. Then tell me why it's wrong. Your common sense. Your common sense is not my common sense. Don't you understand this? Right now, as we speak, people are creating genetically modified viruses to kill off entire races. That is really a fact. Look it up. It's no joke. Oh, conspiracy. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Gene editing, gene slicing. They're working on viruses that will attack only certain hosts. Why? For warfare. Right? Like that. For example, China goes against Africa to war. Just as an example. Right? Okay. Let's just create a genetically modified virus that attacks only Africans. Right? And so, out of that perspective, maybe there's some sort of global threat. The Africans got all together. They want to take over the world. Right? A fictional scenario, but who knows? And in that perspective, all of a sudden, it's justified. Let's just kill them all. Why not? Right? Let's just poison all their villages. Let's spread gene editing viruses to them. Why not? Why is it wrong now? But it is wrong. It's common sense. You tell me why it's wrong. If there is no absolute right and wrong, you cannot tell me that it's wrong. It's that simple. And they're making all of those absolutist statements. There is no right and wrong, but religion is wrong. I don't have to believe in your sky daddy, huh? Why not? Why don't you? Why do you? They don't have the depth at all. Zero. Just common sense, common sense. You're not going by common sense. You're simply going by majority. Whatever your society dictates, whatever you grew up around, found appealing, found attractive, you go with. That's it. That's why you can read a Facebook post of a dumb chick there telling you that she literally wants to jump from one guy to the next, drink alcohol, and then probably get divorced anyways. And you say, yeah, she's absolutely right. Yeah, that's true. See, they're not all the way that Bobby describes it. That's literally what I described, you dumb idiot. Wow, man. Yeah, low T levels. Anyways, JM, thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. Parents Tech donated 10 Canadian dollars as well. Thank you very much, brother. If we have exceptionally beautiful daughters, teach them, because those raised with innocence will attract arrogant men who don't have intentions to build an Islamic home and treat her well. Yeah, very, very simple. Again, he doesn't get it. They don't get it. They don't want to get it. They can't understand it. It's absolutely unbelievable. He says he has 5 children. It would be really interesting to hear if he wants his daughters to have promiscuous sex. That'd be great to hear, honestly, because out of his worldview, as incongruent as it is, it would be very interesting to hear if he therefore wants them to flourish, right? And just have sex with John and Mark, right? Experience whatever they want to. Postpone having children. He doesn't want to have grandchildren, who cares? Right? That would be great. Let him just have sex. I really would like to know if he wants that. Right? Your daughters, the girls that you love the most, basically, aside from your mother, your wife, but I think the daughters you love the most. Do you want bad for them, or do you want good for them? Right? And so therefore, for them to dress modestly, do you really think, oh, fathers want something evil for them? They want to suppress them. Suppress what, man? They just don't want them to become whores. That's it. We don't want them to be promiscuous, drink alcohol. That's it. We want them to be cherished by one husband. That's too much to ask, right? Oh, that's evil. Oh, evil Islam, oppressive. Don't think about that. What's wrong with you, pathetic guy, man? Wow. Okay. Change of pace, change of topic. It's already 11:15 here. Wow. Wait a second, let me see how long I've been streaming. Time passes by fast when you're having fun. Let me double check. I'm streaming for... 3 hours. Damn, that passed by very, very quick, man. I thought I was here only 2 hours. That's amazing. Okay, guys. Anyways, I'm going to cut it off then. I didn't know it was 3 hours already. This is super late. I have still a little bit to do. And then, inshallah, we're going to see each other next week. Unfortunately, guys, I'm going to reduce a little bit with the video uploads. So I'm still going to upload, inshallah, twice per week, maybe 3 times if I can. But with the shadow banning, it has been absolutely tedious. So I'm going to try to upload less at the moment until I come up with a better strategy to bypass the algorithm. Until then, if you can, keep on liking the videos, even old videos. Keep on sharing them so YouTube brings me out of the shadow ban. I think I talked a little bit too much about the current conflict. And yeah, that's when they got really, really mad at me because I was objectively wrong, I assume. Anyways, thank you very much for your support, guys. If you want to further support, check out the links in the description box. I don't just say that, but really check them out. Get some merch. Support the channel by getting merch. You get beautiful names of Allah, and you support the channel like that. Otherwise, Patreon, etc., etc., everything in the description box. Please consider to support because it really helps running this channel. And other than that, thank you very much for your ongoing support, of course. It's always great to connect with you guys. Inshallah, soon on Rumble again. We have to figure out this Streamlabs, essentially membership. It just doesn't let me back into it. I don't know if I've been banned or something. Who knows? At this point, it could be as well. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Always remember, morality is subjective, but my morality is superior to yours. Yeah. Alright, guys. That is it. If you like the stream, thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out the links in the description box. And as always, may God bless you all. Much love and peace.